Good evening, YouTube world. I'm your host, Paul Italia. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'd like to introduce tonight, we got the Arm Wrestling Buzz crew in the house. We got Matt Hollywood Conley busting out of his shirt over there.
That's it.
And we got tonight's special guest, world champion Sarah Backman. What's up, Sarah? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Doing great and loving that shirt, Sarah. And anybody that hasn't already, make sure to get over to Sarah's website and go get your own Make Arm Wrestling Great Again shirt for sure. And she's got a couple other styles out there that you guys definitely should grab for sure. So, welcome to the Arm Wrestling Buzz episode 77, guys. Getting up there. Hell yeah. So I wanted to first start off. I want to catch up with Sarah and just kind of hear what you've been up to lately. See you all over the country. I know that you were just this past weekend over in San Diego. So kind of want to hear about all that and how that went.
Yes. So Greg invited me to be a guest for the World Series of Arm Wrestling, and super honored to get that opportunity. He did that so I could see what they're doing over on the West Coast, because I haven't been part of that promotion at all. And I am so impressed. Like the quality of everything, the setup, the staff that he brought in, it's very high level on everything. So very proud of him and what he's doing. So
Yeah, shout out to Greg Sharp. He's doing big things. We had him on the channel 2 weeks back, and he was giving us all the details on the great World Series of Arm Wrestling finals. I think they were putting out over 100K in prize money, which is just insane and just amazing to hear for our sport. And on top of that, he's working on his reality show, The House, and it is the hot show going to be out there. Everybody wants to cast out for it, so I encourage everybody go in. He's got the email out on his page, and you could send in for your casting. I think they're going to be starting filming around like March, April of 2025. If that's something that you're interested in, definitely go and shoot for it. You know, they're trying to get a guy in each weight class or a lady. I think there's going to be 12 people altogether, but super happy that he's got so many great things going. And Greg's one of those guys, you know, it's not like other people that they got to go and, you know, sell their pilot and hope that network picks it up. Greg is the all-in-one guy, has his own production company, he's got distribution and all that, so he could just get this up and running, doesn't have to depend on anybody buying it. He could, you know, do it all in himself. So really, really great things from him. And so I want to hear about, you know, like, was there some big name showing up? And you know, with $100,000 out there, you know, I would think everybody and their mother would show up. So how was the turnout?
yeah, no, super impressed. We definitely had some world-known athletes over there, like Adam Brzezinski. He's been on East versus West a couple times. Ron Bath was there, Corey West.
Nice.
Really decent. Yeah, like really high quality, great. But of course, like with anything now, like people have to pick and choose maybe what tournaments to go to. There's so many of them. And for this one in particular, you have to qualify throughout the year. So I didn't. So I wasn't allowed to compete.
Ooh.
Which I'm really proud of Greg for standing firm on only allowing qualified athletes. Because if you let someone compete, like you break the concept. So that's how you grow stronger year after year. So hopefully more people will show up next year. But it was big. It went on for like 8 hours. We finished at 8 p.m., started at 1, I think. So it took all day. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And, you know, we kind of were expecting that because it wasn't until like in the last month that he started putting out how much, you know, the prize funds were going to be. And I said that. I said, you know, probably, you know, people are going to realize it's going to get everybody's attention. So now next year, everybody's going to go to all these qualifiers because he throws them all over the country. And, people definitely jump in. And we were saying we think the big names are going to start coming out now that they see how much money's up there. You got to see it firsthand for yourself. And I'm sure you were kicking yourself because you were probably sizing up everybody. Then you're like, not only can I beat all the ladies, I could probably run through all these dudes too and walk away with a pocket full of money for sure.
No, but like you said, I think it was a wake-up call for a lot of people. Like, I think someone went home with $8,000 that day, and I mean that's a good day for an arm wrestler, right? So
my guess is, I know that nobody could talk about it or anything, but seeing that Corey West was there, my guess is going to be Corey walked home a very happy guy. But that's me just totally guessing. I have no inside info, and I wouldn't want to ruin it for anybody else. But that's really cool to hear. And I also just want to show everybody I got in the mail today. I was super excited about this. I got a collection of all the Knuckles Up shirts from every event. They put my name on the back and all that. I'm wearing one right now. Bada bang, bada boom. So yeah, I was like a kid on Christmas today getting these. So I'm going to be rocking these out for the next couple of weeks, showing my love to Knuckles Up. And we know you have a big super match coming up, but we're going to get into that a little later. I want to hear some more about other topics before then. And we got to make mention this setup. I mean, Sarah, you've brought it to a whole nother level. You got the headphones, you got the microphone, you got everything over there. I'm used to when we have you on interview, usually like in your truck. I mean, I'm not taking anything. You got a Rover. So, I mean, I would be taking, doing some interviews in there as well, but looking really, really official over there for sure. So
yeah, no, it's obviously Mike's stuff. It's his setup, but this is what you need if you want to do a good show. Like, it makes it way more funner. Like, if I watch a podcast or listen to a podcast, my requirement is good sound, and I never give that when I'm on interviews because like you said, I'm in my car with my headphones. So yeah, this is way better.
Definitely a good look, man. Loving that for sure. I want to shout out to a bunch of people in the chat. We got the regulars in the house. We got Richard. We got Rolling Up Everest, Atlantis, Drew 24, our moderator. What's up, brother? Pro Gear Arm Wrestling in the house. Mikey, how you doing, brother? We got Barry Bourne, Diamond Kid, Joseph Sage, Engen Terzi's Retirement Fund. Oh, love it, man. Hell yeah. Very original on all that RHCP. Oh, congratulations, MAGA. Yeah, guys, what does everybody think? I don't really like to get into politics and all, but we do got to make mention. I was up all night watching all that, and I was afraid to go to sleep before, he actually called, because last time that happened, I woke up and I was disappointed, and, things changed overnight. So I made sure to stay up for this one, and I was just super stoked with that. And, now our country's going back in the right direction. So very, very happy with that. We got Steve West Arm Wrestling Channel with $1.99 super chat. What's up, Paul, Sarah, and Matt? Thank you. Appreciate that, Steve. Hell yeah. So, Matt, what has been up with you, brother? How's everything going? Did you finally get some sleep after your crazy editing to get everything out on the AWE event?
I did finally, yeah. Eventually, it was funny because I have my smartwatch which tracks my sleep, and it was like 0 for like the whole week until Friday, and then it said your average is like 3 hours for this week. I was like, yep, that makes sense. But we got it done, and yes, Dave Stockbridge, and he had one of his guys also run through the editing part to finish it off, to get it all sorted. We put it out on Saturday morning. Saturday morning for us here would have been Friday night for the US. And yeah, it was the 8-man double elimination tournament. We've got over 10,000 views on that one so far. Lots of positive feedback. A lot of people really enjoyed the tournament format. And yeah, it just sits at just over an hour running time, and it's just match after match after match. So there's always action happening. There's always no long drawn out setups or anything like that, which is the reason we wanted to do it post-production style, to just eliminate anything that was, going for ages. Although we didn't really have those issues. I think the refereeing was fantastic. I think that the negotiated grip was used a lot, which is where both guys get the opportunity to just take a grip. And if they're both happy with it, no matter what the grip is, if you both say you're happy, we'll just start the match. So that happened a lot, which was fantastic because both guys just wanted something or this or that. And it's like, if you're happy there, are you happy there? Yep. All right, let's just start. So away we went. And yeah, Rickard Borman, as you can see, the Drew said Rickard was too good. It was too short of a vid, he says. But yes, Rickard was too powerful, too strong, walked away undefeated again as the AWE heavyweight champion. And yeah, he'll cruise on through. But his next challenge is going to be Don Underwood on the 25th of January at Knuckles Up. So that'll be his next step up. We saw a lot of comments saying, oh, Rickard's too good, too strong for Australia. He needs international competition. It's like, well, the good news is he already has a match scheduled internationally. So, and it's not against no one. It's against one of the guys who may have been considered the best in the world at one point, who's on a comeback trail. So Don Underwood is no easy task. So that'll be exciting to see.
Yeah, and we actually have Don going to be popping on the second part of the show. I definitely want to hear from Don. I want to hear, after he watched that 8-man and seen Rickard's performance, if he's having second thoughts, is he feeling, he has the formula. But the reason why I also brought it up is we know that there was a ladies match. It was both arms. And oh my God, guys, Ashley Horeta is the real deal. I mean, if you blinked, it was over. It was nuts. You know what I mean? And knowing that, her opponent, what was her name? Kenzie? Keziah. She was the number one in Australia. And, wow. I was just kind of in shock to see, how easy Ashley made it. Sarah, did you get to watch that match yet?
No, I haven't, but I'm going to as soon as we're done with this podcast.
So Drew just put it up on AWE. He has the link under there, but I think Matt's gonna click on it right now and let you take a quick look at it. I mean, you could literally watch it right now and you'll see what I'm talking about. It is pretty nuts. And the reason why we were bringing this up is, originally you were locked in, and I know there was some scheduling problems and all. But, I'm definitely curious to see what your thoughts are, and do you think you're going to have the answer? Because, I mean, Ashley, obviously, it's transferring over all that power on that bench press, 700 pounds. And, you'll see right now what I'm talking about. Yeah, this was next level. But I definitely, I'd like to see somebody like more her size, because I feel like there was definitely a big weight gap here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Although Keziah is still in the heavyweight category for women, but yeah, there was still a significant difference. But Ashley was definitely training in Sarah Backman mode, and that's who she was expecting to go against. So she was primed and ready. But unfortunately, the scheduling issues. But Keziah is not a bad arm wrestler though. She just 6 days after this event, she went and won the national title on right and left arm. So it just shows you the level that Ashley is sitting at.
Yeah, and I'm not taking anything away from her because, you could tell, she's young and up and coming and all that. But I think there was just that much of a strength gap difference that, it went the way it did. And it looks like Ashley's just side pressure, just straight, boom, straight sideways, like crazy shit.
Like Ashley looks way more confident just in the setup alone. From what I've seen from previous videos too, like she just looks super solid.
Yeah, you can see Keziah's trying the low hand top roll position, but it's not getting anywhere, and Ashley's just side pressuring straight through it.
This is vital too, because I remember Ashley said in our last podcast that her left is even better.
Yeah, you'll see it too. It was even quicker if it's possible. It really was.
Yeah, so she did lose the center there just for a second, but Ashley probably just mistiming the jump a little bit. You can see it just right there. Yeah. Because I getting a little bit, but then just getting overpowered. But we'll go to the left hand as well. Get another intro.
And for Dave Shubich, Sarah Bachman's next big match is January. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm jumping way ahead. She has one coming up in the next week or two. I think the 16th.
Yeah, it's a Thursday actually. Thursday night, I have a match against Matt Bias, a guy.
That is just nuts to me. Like now, now she's not even pulling women anymore. Now she's just gonna go beat up on the dudes. It's like,
But
poor Matt.
Holy moly here, like Ashley, her she looks way better with left. Like she looked great with right, but the hand control with the left was just a different level.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like she was playing with Ashley a bit. With Keziah a little bit on that start there. So she lets her hit, just holds it, and then smashes her through to the pad.
So after seeing her, she reminds me of Gabby. I think she's a little taller, but she's got that Gabby kind of look to her. What's your thoughts on this, Sarah? After seeing how easy she's going and all.
Yeah, no, I see so much potential. It's just. I'm super happy she found her sport and everything, and I need to feel her, but because I don't know really who Keziah is, and she might be the best in the US, but if you haven't beaten or like taken a name, or it's hard to gauge. Like I don't know Keziah's level, right? So I gotta feel her for myself, or she gotta do some type of performance against someone that I do know. But
Matt, what does she have coming up? Do we have any? I know that she's going to focus now for the next few months back on beating her bench press record. But is she planning on pulling anybody in the interim, or we're waiting to 2025 for her next big match?
Yeah, I think 2025 is going to be the next one. I think it's all in on breaking that bench press record. From what she was saying, because we went out to dinner and everything afterwards, all the athletes, and I had a good chat to her there, and she said that there's another girl that's been trying to break her record on bench, and she's attempted it twice and has failed, but she wants to set it just a little bit higher just to really solidify that she's the world record holder and that, hold on to that record for quite some time. So that's going to be her focus for the next few months, I think, is to go all in on that, set the record. And then I think from what she said, she's going to be retiring bench press after that. And so hopefully she'll be moving into the arm wrestling world permanently and full time once this next record is set. And yeah, we'll see how it goes from there. But from the feedback and everything that she was talking after the event, it seems that she's really, really enjoying the arm wrestling community and the people involved in it and the training side of the sport, and obviously doing tremendously well with her skill level and her power and everything with that backup, like having that framework coming into the sport, being so strong, and then able to use that and develop the techniques that she needs to really compete at the elite level. I think that she's very excited about that.
Hell yeah. And we got a super chat from Alfredo Loya for $5. He says, "Hola everyone, hope all is well. Sarah, when do you plan on pulling again, if you don't mind me asking? Thanks." So I'll let you answer that, Sarah.
Yeah, so my next one will be next Thursday, November 14th. I have a super match, left-handed, with Matt Bias. He's a guy who is somewhere from Midwest, but half-time down in South Florida. I met him one time before, but never pulled him. So that's going to be very interesting. Like, it's a legit match. I have to really, I have to beat him. I have to really go all in for that one. And the next one after that would be at the Knuckles Up. January 25th, against the Elen Jonheim, a Swedish young world champion who I have never arm wrestled before, but I've known of her for 10 years. I mean, she started arm wrestling since like age 7 or something, and she has probably more world titles than me.
Wow.
Yeah, like she's legit. Like super strong. She's right there with Fia. Every time they meet, they beat each other every other time, right? So people know about Fia. Just put that in perspective, like the level of this girl. She's on the IFA side, so she doesn't get much opportunity to pull the rest. So this is such a cool thing to be able to put us together at this card at Knuckles Up.
Hell yeah. And I want to hear more about Thursday before we get into the Knuckles Up. Yeah. Where can everybody watch it? Is it going to be a live feed anywhere that we could tune in?
Yes. So yes, we're working on that, and we're going to announce that in the next couple of days. But it's more of gathering events in person, because this is our first one that we're doing with this business or sponsor, and we're laying the ground for this one. If this turns out awesome, it can grow into something bigger. But yes, I will announce in the next couple of days how you're going to be able to watch it live.
And just so we could know, the name of it is Beef Brawls, right?
Yep, Beef Brawl. Yep.
So tell me who's behind this and all, because I seen somebody under my post on the Arm Wrestling Buzz. I think it was a guy, Mike. I don't remember the last name, but he said that he was part of throwing this event.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, kind of give us a background about their business and like what are they trying to do and how are they connected with arm wrestling?
For sure. Yeah. So Evan Darnell is the owner of the Red Meat Lovers Club. This was founded in 2017 down in South Florida. And their biggest passion, what they focus on, is red meat, right? So they bring in these amazing cuts like Wagyu steak from overseas, where the animal has been like massaged, and like it's really the finest, right? So that's like what they go for. And every month or so, they host events where they serve this food prepared by really amazing chefs to their business partners, sponsors of the clubs, but it's also open to the public. And every time they bring in some type of entertainment. So they've had MMA, they've had boxing, they've had like midget wrestling, right? So they've had all of these things. So he contacted me back in 2020 already. I wasn't ready or available to do it then. But then he hit me up this year and said, all right, are you ready to bring a show? So I let Mike Katoya, who's a promoter down in South Florida, know about it. And he was all in. So we're bringing 5 super match card where I'm part of it. They wanted something freaky. So something to bring attention, because most people in the audience will not know anything about arm wrestling. So this is like our opportunity to bring awareness to our sport to outsiders, because they are there to just have a good night. Like it's their entertainment, right? But if this goes well, sky's the limit, apparently. So
Well, I like the match they set up for you with Matt Baez. I know a lot of people don't know him, but I know him from the beginning when he first came into the sport. I used to practice with the team that he was at, and I remember that first time meeting him, and we had like an event going down. I think like a week later in West Virginia, me and Travis were throwing an event, and he's like, "Yo, bro, I think I'm gonna drive up there," and I'm like, "You're gonna drive up there?" And all, he's like, "Yeah, bro." He's like, "I've loved this shit." And it was like literally his first week there. Well, I turn around West Virginia and look who's here, Matt. He just drove like 20 hours straight to come in for the tournament. I was like, damn, bro, you got bit with the arm wrestling bug for sure, man. But great to see you here. And he always stuck out for me. I'm like, this dude is dedicated. And I remember the dude's got some mitts on him. He got some big.
Everybody tells me that. Like like everybody says that. Like I can't begin to tell you. You must be the 30th person that told me this. So like, how big hands do this guy have? Like
that was the first thing that I remember about him. And he must work with his hands. He's like definitely he's got the grit to him. So it's gonna be a good match, but I think
you think so?
Yeah, I think my money's going to be on you with your experience level. I think you're going to be able to figure out the formula, but this is going to be no cakewalk. It's definitely going to be a good one. So definitely, guys, if you can, I can't wait till Sarah puts out the info, but this is going to be a great one. This is probably the main event, right? You guys are
at the main event. We're bringing in Ron Bath against Andrei
Sharkovich. Yeah. Oh boy.
Left hand, yeah. So that will be cool. And then we have.
Wait, hold on. Left hand. So I don't know. How's Ron's left hand? I'm not. I know Ron's a legend, and he's got to be amazing with both hands. But is Ron a good puller with his left hand?
I think so. I'm not too sure.
Because I know the Shark, man. He's a shark with that left arm. That's
Yeah.
that's one of his money. That's his money arm right there, bro.
Yeah.
So I got
I,
to ask you, Sarah, what's your prediction on that match?
I think Shark is on a different level lately. I think he's like have elevated so much the last year. So I do think he will pull it off. But it's always such an honor to have Ron Bath part of anything. So
Yeah, that's Ron going against John, left hand at wall. Oh, he beat
Wow.
John left. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this one goes, and I'm also curious to see how big is there a weight cap on this match, or it's open?
yeah, I think it's 242.
Oh boy, so we could have a big ass Sharkovich there, because I remember at the last Knuckles Up, I mean, when he went against Bowen, and when he walked in, and I'm used to training with Shark, I couldn't believe what he looked like. I'm like, Jesus, bro, you look bigger than normal, like. And he's like, yeah, I'm up 10 pounds. I think he was like 235 that day, and now he could go up to 242. Holy shit, man, this one's gonna be some fireworks here, and this match is gonna mean a lot for Andre. If he gets this win, I mean, like you just said, his trajectory in the last year has just been skyrocketing, but this really will, get his name flying around even more than it is. I mean, the dude is just, I remember at the round robin, he came in, just kind of destroyed everybody. Nobody really seen that coming. And now when he went against Bowen, he made it look like it wasn't even a match. He was just kind of holding him in the center and just kind of toying with him, which is pretty crazy. So definitely excited about this event. And who else do we got on the card?
Then we have Dane Sellers, who is this new superstar of Florida. Yeah, against Josh Miller.
Wait, let me think. So Josh Miller, who is Josh Miller's? Can you pull him up, Matt? I know I recognize the name, but I can't put the face to the name.
Super nice, mellow guy.
It's not always the best when you start off with he's a super nice, you didn't say super strong. Like when you said Dane Sellers, I'm like, oh shit, dude's a beast.
It's just he's so thick, his wrist and hand and everything. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know who.
Yeah, on the right there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think he might have some problems, because Dane is a freaking absolute animal, man. That dude is just. He's another one that's pretty new to this sport.
Oh, jeez, I thought his wrist broke then.
Yeah. Yeah, so Dane, when I was practicing down there, I was at Chris Rusek's at the pole barn, and I think that was Dane's second practice. I think this is probably like a year and a half ago now. And I just remember seeing him, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, this dude is huge. And, he's, he looks like a bodybuilder. So I went up to him and kind of was just giving him some tips from, getting into the sport, as a bodybuilder, and kind of telling him to take it slow and all. But I couldn't believe like what he was doing right away. Like it was just manhandling everybody, just stayed on the table the whole time and was just running through everybody. And you could see at that time, he really didn't know much technique, but he didn't need it. He was just that strong that, and then, I went to a few other practices as, months went by, and I couldn't believe how quick he was picking up on things. And then when he just started really training for arm wrestling, you could see he just went to a whole nother level, man. And I think there was like a picture or a video he put out recently, and he was showing his pronator muscle, and it looked like a friggin' softball on his arm. I was just like, damn, all right, bro, you're all in now with arm wrestling and all. So is this is Josh on going against Artem?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this when they were talking a lot of shit back and forth, and I know Artem took the drive all the way down there. How did this one end up? I think Josh won this, right? This was a grinder. I know they went back and forth on it, but I think that Josh got the win that day. But yeah, he's definitely going to have his hands full going against Dane. So what's your thoughts on that one, Sarah? Who do you have winning?
Just because of their styles, like Josh is such a strong arm wrestler, but I've never seen him hit aggressively. Yeah, like he usually beats everyone on pure strength, whereas Dane is this aggressive, unleashed animal. like seriously, he reminds me a lot about Matt Mask, the way he can turn on that switch, which is such a benefit in arm wrestling. Like not many people have that switch where you're like, all right, this is life or death. Like they just, nothing else matters. I will beat you. Like I will, and that's what Dane has. And for that reason, I do think that Dane will take the win.
Do you think, Sarah, that has something to do with our background in the gym with like, as far as bodybuilding and all? Because I kind of felt like the same thing. It's like when I could just flip the switch, it's like when I go for, my PR and, right before a set, all of a sudden I went from completely calm to like, you just murdered my mother in front of me and I'm going to handle you right now in just like total apeshit mode. And I feel like it was from training so many years, it's like you kind of learn how to turn that on. Do you feel like you got something like that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it's definitely a mindset, right? But it's also, if you were maybe an athlete growing up, if you were into, let's say, football or gymnastic, like you're either born or you're not with it, right? The fast twitch muscle fiber. So if you don't have that in your DNA, you will never be an aggressive, explosive arm wrestler. It's just not in your DNA. But so that's definitely a benefit if you were born like that, and then you did sports as a child and like young adult or whatever. So you have that background and the mindset, just understanding that, like, everything, like I'm living my life, but I have this opportunity, these slow minutes right here of opportunity to perform. I will give it 100% when it matters. Like there's no holding back. Like once you understand that and go for it, I mean, that's what we see from these great athletes.
So let me tell you, Sarah, what do you do, to kind of like get yourself like in that mode? Like when do you is there something that you like, maybe music or something before you get on the table? Is there something you say in your head? Like what flips the switch for you?
Yeah. So like lately I don't compete that much like anymore, as you guys know. I have like one match a year, if that, but like back in the day when I was the most active, I mean, it was, I was obsessed, right? It was like my religion. It was all I was thinking about. So like I would practice that mindset all day long. Everything I was doing, I would just think it, and I would always have a deadline. Okay, World Championship is 10 weeks away, and I would like block off a week and then another week, and my training and mindset would just change depending on if I had to drop weight, which I usually have to do. Like it's a mindset. Like you can learn it from watching the podcast and whatever. I was reading books. I went to seminars back then. I was very fortunate to work with an amazing coach back then in Sweden who taught me a lot how to think. But yes, music is everything. Walking, nature, like just being able to turn off the noise. And then when it's like the day of, really just have that stillness. Like you can't run around, worry about things. You have to really have a quiet mind going into the match. And then I was always talking to myself in a very negative way, which I now know it was not beneficial, but it worked. Like I really arm wrestled as if my life depended on it. Like I only deserved love if I won, like it's not very healthy. Like, but I really put everything in each performance, and it was devastating if I lost, still is, but now I'm older and I know that you win some, you lose some, it still sucks. But back then when I was young, like 16, 17, 18, I didn't know any better. I would be depressed for months if I lost. Like I would not being able to get out of bed. I would hide. I gained weight. I would eat my emotions. But you learn.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm still trying to figure out the formula because, I tried doing the same thing and like, I'll get something in my head like that just makes me really angry. And then like, I just keep saying it over and over. And the time I get up there, I'm like a ticking time bomb. I'm ready to explode. My chest feels like it's going to seize up and I just need to let this rage out. But I've also been in that position where I just couldn't turn myself on. And I've came across that like 2-3 times now during competing. And that's the shit that just scares me now because, I don't know what the difference was. A good example was when I went against Nanya, it was like, I just kind of went with the procedure. I just was out of it mentally. There was a lot of shit that happened before. I was running up and down the stairs and I felt like I kind of like shot my load and I just couldn't turn myself on. And my girl's seeing the same thing. She's like, anytime I've seen you compete, she's like, I would see the switch go off and you would just come like a savage. And she's like, that day, it didn't happen. And, and it was just, it was like the scariest experience now. Like I look back because I'm like, dude, I did everything right. It just mentally I wasn't there, so that's something I'm trying to figure out. And the way I'm going to try going about it for myself was just more experience in tournaments, just keep going in the tournaments because a few of those times I went to the FAL, I think you were there, a couple of them, and I was just on, man. It just I got on there and I just felt like I couldn't be beat and I just was so confident in my head. And it's like even guys that probably they probably were a little better than me, but I feel like just I psyched them out so much before the match because I was such a psycho that I actually just I beat guys that I really didn't think I normally would. So I'm still trying to figure out, and I'm also trying to figure out like as far as like taking a pre-workout or like what nutrition I do that day, because there's sometimes like when I go to practice and if I do the pre-workout I'm like really really good, but then there's other times where I pump out so quick, so it gets you like second guessing yourself, like should I be taking that during an event? And then it's like the up and down. If you go and take a pre-workout, you have your matches, but now you got to like sit and wait, like an hour or two to finish. Now I'm gonna have like no energy is what I'm scared about. So like, have you figured out anything? Like, do you take anything of that day? Like, do you do a pre-workout? Do you do like a certain nutrition in you? Like, what's your approach?
So I totally get what you're saying. When I had my match with Egle at East versus West a year ago, same thing with me. Like, I tried to fire myself up, but it wasn't there. Even Malin sat with me on stage and she said, Sarah, wake the fuck up, do something. And it was like I heard her and I was like, I'm doing what I can, but it wasn't there. And one thing that I learned from that is like, if I just compare it to like my prime, like back in the day, I could so many times like confident, like I knew in my heart that no one wants this more than me. Like no one trains hard. Nobody deserves this more than me. And like, I was consumed with this mindset and that carried me in. I was like, I remember just approaching the table. I was like, do whatever you want. Like, I got you. Like, I believed in myself. So like, it starts like way before the day of the event, in my opinion. Like, people that just take it lightly, you're not gonna be the best. Scrolling like it's determination and grit way long ago that's gonna pay off on this day, right? But anyways, on the day of, first of all, I stopped creatine 7 days before. Learned that if I do creatine any time before 7 days before, my arm blows up and I cannot pull. Like I can't take a grip. I can't,
See, that's crazy. I never seen the problem with the pump with the creatine. I've never seen that, but everybody's body is different. I always found that it helped me, like about like a month out, that's when I actually would start taking the creatine and loading up on that. And I felt like it helped with endurance and all that. But I'm going to keep that in mind.
Yeah. I mean, I do creatine all the time, but just stop it 7 days before.
Okay.
Like you're going to have all the benefits during training, and it's still going to be there, but it's not going to like be present and pull fluids into the muscle when you work or do the match. So you're not going to blow up. But depending on what time the match or the tournament is too. So if you know that you're okay, I'm going to pull around 2 p.m. I would have like a decent meal in the morning and maybe a snack, something sugary or like a banana, honey, 45 to 30 minutes before I know it's me, it's my turn. And some type of pre-workout. Nothing with beta-alanine, because again, that gives pump. So no C4 or anything beta-alanine, but you definitely want caffeine, and something that just wakes you up. Like,
now, how long would you take that beforehand? And like, say, like you just said, you know how you go at the beginning, and then if you go back into the finals, would you take it twice that day?
Yes. On competition day, like there's no rules to diet or anything. Like I even remember one day, I don't know if this is a lot to me, but I took 1,000 milligrams of caffeine.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I needed so much before the first part of the day, but then I was like, I'm holding nothing back. Like today, like I said, you have that small window of opportunity. You may have trained any training you've done. Have you been an arm wrestler for 5-6 years? Like what you've done up to this point, that's what's going to matter. Like you go all in.
How does that feel though with all that, doesn't that give you a little anxiety? Like, remember I was saying how my chest feels like it's going to blow up. If I did it down, I think I would start biting people.
No, if I feel any type of my heart racing, if I feel nervous, I embrace that. I need to feel that to flip that switch. Like it's when I don't feel that, that's when I get worried.
Okay.
So I want but maybe that's just me though. I don't listen to me.
Well, we're going to listen to you because you're an 8-time world champion, and I don't have any world champions. So yeah, I'm definitely going to listen to you on that shit for sure. And Pro Gear Arm Wrestling says 40 milligrams of Halo about an hour before helps a bunch. I got to admit, bro, I've tried that. I haven't did it in actual competition, but in practices, I was experimenting with that. And that was one of those things that pumped my hand out like literally so quick. Like, that first couple of pulls in practice for like 5 to 10 minutes, I felt like I was like the strongest thing. But then my hand, I wouldn't even be able to close it. It would be so like swelled up and so much water retention in there. So, I kind of went away from like the whole Halo thing, and that kind of scared me, because if that happens when you're in a tournament or an event, there's nothing worse than being pumped out and have to go through a match. That is like, it's not a fun experience. So but I'm definitely down to try, maybe again in the next events when I got coming up, see how I react with that. And I think somebody should kind of like make a video, maybe like Sarah, maybe you should do like some experiment, and you're always in the gym and all, and maybe just try different things, like try pre-workout like certain amount of time before, and like kind of like make a journal of exactly how much that you do, and kind of just share it with the whole community. And, it's something, if you're only taking a couple matches a year, you got plenty of time to do that. And, I think that would be beneficial because, I haven't seen anything like that yet. And anytime you ask everybody, you get completely contradicting answers. Some people are like, hell no, pre-workout, no way. And then others are like, bro, I double up on the pre-workout. Like, that's the shit. Like,
I'm not going to try any Halo though. That's like an androgenic of 500 or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, if I was, I wouldn't be messing around with Halo and all that. I think that was more for the dudes. because with the ladies, I mean, I know that with the ladies, really the only thing that, you know, they should take really, you know, I mean, they shouldn't take anything or whatever, but what I hear is Anavar in very, very small dosages. You know, as far as men, you know, they're doing 25 to 50 milligrams a day. I'm hearing with ladies, like Anavar, all you need is like 5 milligrams, and, you know, that's pretty substantial dose or whatever. So, you know, I think that might be more geared for, you know, geared, like I said, that for the ladies and all that. But, you know, I don't know too much about it. Now, when it comes to bodybuilding for ladies, I know a lot more and could help you out in that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would really encourage you, if you could, just kind of like show us, you know, different ways of going about it, and some really great content. I think that would be with you, and, you know, show us your whole experience. And, you know, what is your plan for Thursday? Like, you know, are you going to do the pre-workout? Are we going to do 1,000 milligrams of caffeine? And we're probably scaring Matt Baez right now. He's probably listening. He's like, oh shit, he's got his notebook out. Like, I got to do this shit. And, so what's your plans Thursday? Like, what are you going to do for this one?
Well, I get there the day before, so I'm just going to chill day of. And I'm gonna look at it like, I know that I'm saying like flip the switch and like go all in and everything, but I don't know. I'm at a point now where, yes, I take everything I do very serious, but if I know, like, I say two things at once now, but like if I put too much pressure on myself, like I disable myself, like, you know. So I want to chill a little bit too, and just think of, because I practice with guys all the time, and it's like when I'm the most relaxed and happy-go-lucky, that's when people are like, damn, you're really strong. So like my mindset is a little bit different because it's a guy, right? So I'm just gonna think of it as a regular Thursday night practice. Like,
let me ask you, when you go against a guy, does it take the edge away? Like, it's not as, you know, a stressful match for you, because, like, you know, you're like, it's a win-win in a way, you know what I mean? Because if you beat him, I mean, you're the superhero that just, you know, did. But if you're not, you know, people are gonna be like, oh, you know, well, he was a dude or whatever. So like, does that take the edge away from you?
It does a little bit. Like you said, you're right. It's a win-win, because if I lose, it's like, oh, but he's a guy. But if I win, I look really good. So it's definitely like more pressure going against a high-level female, or any female, you know. So, but still, I want to perform. It's going to be cameras there, social media, you know, any content we're going to use for the future, right? So I really want to do good for the sponsor. So he wants to bring us back and think it was worth it and entertaining and everything. And I also want to feel good about myself and pull this off. So.
Oh yeah, and Matt is at what weight now? Is he 176 guy? Or?
Yeah, so we decided on 165, but I think we're gonna just come in at whatever, because I'm walking around 176, and I think he's around 170. So like, I don't really care. Like, if he's cool with me just being this, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal, like what the weight is on this one. So.
Now, how's your left feeling? Are you at 100% with it? Are you close to 100?
Yeah. So my last match was 2021 at the first East versus West, right? And I won against Irina Drayeva, but then I never had a left-hand match again. I tore my shoulder, and I had surgery. I walked around with a torn shoulder for over a year until I found that out, and I couldn't train with this side at all. Stupid. Why did I wait so long? Anyways, I found out it was torn, had surgery, and did the whole thing of just being in a sling and rehab and whatever. But now I am super strong. I feel really good. I have a strong move that all my guys are telling me is like great, and I have a lot of confidence in this one move.
So can we give up any secrets of what the move is, or we're gonna keep that top secret?
Yeah. Right now? I'll show you next Thursday, and if it goes well, you'll see, because it's the one move I have. Like even tonight I practice, like it just doesn't connect in any other way but this one move. So we'll see.
Is it that combo? Because I remember I've always been in awe of your combo hit. Like it's just like you're like bam, bam. It's just like, you know, you survive the first one, and the next thing you know, you're going in a complete different direction, and
Yeah,
you're like, holy
there's
shit.
some of that for sure.
Okay.
It's a twist. Everyone, but like a lot of people tell me that I've never felt this before. Just like, I don't know, I just
That's when I first got into the sport and I watched you pull, I'm like, I need to learn from her, because you know it was, you beat all these bigger dudes than you, and you know you just, they don't even know what hit them, and it's the technique, you know, it's, you know, I mean, you are insane strong, but you know, it's just the changing of directions and the way you move was just, you know, not too many people move so smoothly and like hit with that kind of combination. It kind of reminds me of like kind of Craig Toulier, you know, like, you know, it's a different move completely, but you know, when Craig pulls, you know, people are brace themselves for that first hit, and then you know they survive it, and they're like they take a breath, and then boom, before you know it, he double hits, and you're just like, you didn't see that second one coming. And it kind of reminds me of how you would do it, you know, and I would just be in awe of that, and I'm like, I gotta learn how to do that. And that's kind of when I started training with Bob Brown. He was like showing me, and I remember being like, this is how Sarah pulls, this is exactly like her move right there. This is, yeah. So you know, definitely love how you pull. Your technique is definitely amazing for sure. And we got Jody Williams. He says, I saved my energy for the match itself. The last thing I want to do is hoop, holler, and scream and burn energy before to go. My mindset is thinking what I need to do. I hear you, Jody, but there's different ways of going at things, man. You know, I'm one of those guys that, you know, I like to amp myself up. I get it. You don't want to burn out your energy, but I also feel like being the way I am, it scares the shit out of a lot of my opponents. You know, like I feel like I intimidate them, and they can't even think of what they do. You know what I mean? Because I'm literally going, you know, ready to explode, and it's not fake. It's not something I make up. It's just so much thought and so much, you know, build up and thinking of this damn match. And it's always when I find somebody, like I remember when I went to FAL and I watched all the videos before, and I kept seeing this dude Matt Rundle, really good puller out of Oklahoma, and I would see him go in all these different weight classes and beat everybody, and he was in my weight class. So I kept studying this dude, and I'm like, that's the dude that I gotta beat. So a time I finally got up there with him, I was just, that's all I could think about for the last 2 months was this dude, Matt Rundle. And I was talking to him, and he couldn't believe how amped up I was. And it just kind of intimidated him. And he told me that after, he's like, bro, you were like a friggin' maniac up there. And I was like, bro, I just wanted it over with. I was like, I just kept watching you for so long. And, you know, I knew you were going to be the one that it was going to come down to. So I just, you know, I felt like a ticking time bomb, and I just had to let out all the aggression, and that's the way it came out. And it was just, you know, so I get it, you know, like some people, you know, like to keep calm, cool, like Bob Brown would always say to me. He's like, yo, conserve the energy. He goes, I get it though, you get all amped up and all, but you want to conserve that energy. And you know, I kind of felt like that when I went against Nanya. You know, I was so amped up before, and it didn't go down for an hour after, and I felt like that's what happened that day. I felt like I shot my load. By the time I get there, I was already like exhausted, and I felt like I had nothing left in me. So I get it. You know, you can overdo it. You can psych yourself out and just, you know, lose all your energy. So, you know, you kind of just got to figure out your own formula, and you got to find out the balance, what works for you. And, you know, and the only way to go about that is just, you know, compete more and more. And, you know, that's what I'm learning with that as well. Sarah, what is your whole thoughts on it? Do you feel like, you know, being amped up, does that work for you, or do you like to be more calm, cool, and relaxed before the match?
It's a mix of both. I definitely want to be left alone. Like I hate when people talk to me before a match. Like don't talk to me. Like, you know, like I can't function right now. Like, so I try to go away or step away where people don't get to me. Pacing back and forth, I like to do that. And
do you have your headphones in? Are you listening to any music in particular?
Do that actually, and I didn't used to do. Like the music is like the months leading up to the event, the morning of, but I don't do that the day of, and I never did, or like right before. But I do believe in music and the power of music, and think that's a great tool.
The reason why I say that is just because, you know, like you just said, I know how it is. Everybody's coming up to you. They want to talk to you. And, you know, I feel like when I'd put in my headphones and have the music on, you know, sometimes I'd have it on low, but it was like assigned to everybody else, like stay the fuck away from me. Like, you know, I'm not ready to talk. I'm not in a friendly mood. And I would just put my head down and kind of like what you were saying, I'm just pacing around like, whoa, let this go. Like, I got to get this out of me. Like,
no, exactly. That's a very, very strong visual not to bother, but you'll be surprised how many people still want to say something, you know.
Well, use that as, you know, to get you angry. Just keep saying, who the fuck is wrong with this person? I'm about to pull and they're coming up annoying me. Like, oh, like. Well, I'd like to introduce our next guest of the night, who's also got a big match coming up at Knuckles Up 5, January 25th. We got Don Hollywood Underwood in the house, looking lean, mean, ripped, and just putting out a crazy six-pack at 275 pounds and like sending me pictures like, dude, I'm gonna catch you, bro. I'm like, man, you're making me look bad here, bro. Like, what the fuck? How are you 275 with abs?
Yeah. Lucky, I guess.
Donnie?
Hey, man, living life, man. Just got back from San Diego. Same place that girl right there was. It was a good time. We got to spend a little time together, get to know one another, talk a little bit about business. And I think her head's on straight, and her future's still just as bright as it ever was. But, yeah, the World Series was fantastic. You know, I came into work, decided to dive in, trained all week up till Friday, did big back exercise on Friday and said, hell with it. They're paying through 8th place. Let's just jump in there and see how we do with these big boys. And I tested the waters and, you know, fell right in my place. I did real well. Had a hell of a battle with Wallace Dilly. Probably a 3 or 4 minute match. Dead set hook, just fought each other off. Took a lot out of both of us. I ended up fouling out my 4th match. You know, a little stamina, a little pain. Just had a lot of trouble. I pulled a tournament the week before too, so I was beat up pretty bad. But Wallace took 2nd, and I ended up with 8th place. So I did fall in the money. So yay for me. But like I said,
how many people were in the class that day?
14, 15. Yeah, it was good heavyweight class. Deep talent. Robbie Burnett. Unfortunately, he tore his bicep, I think, against Wallace in another real tough match. But overall, man, what a fantastic event. Sarah, man, what do you think? It was pretty exceptional for
totally, guys. Yeah, what a great production, very high level staff, athletes, good stuff for arm wrestling for sure.
Yeah, and the guy did
sorry about that, Don. What are you going to say, brother?
I said, and overall, the guy did what he said he was going to do, everything down to the penny, $100,000. It was absolutely cool to watch the stack of envelopes full of money. And, you know, it's very rare in this sport to have somebody, first of all, say they're going to do that. We've seen it a ton in the past, but this guy's consistently just building an empire, you know, as far as I'm concerned. I do work for him. It is not in my contract to talk good about him. But it's hard to talk about a guy that's doing so many great things for the sport. And like I say, Sarah was there. She'll back me up on this.
Yeah.
Overall, exceptional event without hiccup. Referees down to the production. Kayla and Tim, of course, you know, ran things as normal. You know, I felt like I did a great job. Tough crowd out there in San Diego. But, you know, I laid it on as thick as I could and had a great time and a great day. So look forward to doing it again.
Hell yeah. So Don, I want to ask you this, brother. Now that we know that $100,000 prize money was distributed, you know, I felt like we weren't getting the traction before then. You know, do you think this is what, you know, this finally got everybody's attention now? Like, I'm talking like all the big names and all. Could we expect them all to start showing up at all these qualifiers next year, and the finals next year be like quadruple the amount of people? Like, do you see that happening now?
Well, I mean, it should. I mean, if it doesn't, shame on them. I mean, this is legitimate money. Corey West walked out of there with $15,000.
Jesus.
Let's do the math. Corey West is a very good arm wrestler. Wallace had every opportunity to jump in there. Wallace is green as can be. I mean, the guys knew. He lined up in Corey's lane and just basically just fell into a trap. And by the time I seen him, I was trying to coach him the best I could. Wallace is from my neck of the woods. We're going to be training together. We're always competing against one another. He's one of the young up and comers. He's 40 years old. That, when I say young, he's young in the sport, but this guy comes from the powerlifting background. And I think he's going to be next year one of the toughest competitors. But like I said, if these guys don't show up, it don't make no sense. Hey, better shot for us to take the money. So stay home. I'm fine with it.
No, man, we need you. We need you out talking this up, man, because I think that's all it is, man. It's just word of mouth got to get out there. I said that 2 weeks back. I said, what the hell, $100,000? I was like, you know what it is a lot of these guys didn't know about this before, whatever, they weren't paying attention. But, I feel like now seeing the posts going out there, and I feel like a lot of guys, reality clicked in, like, damn, I had to qualify and I can't even qualify, and they're giving out that much money. Well, they need to get Corey West on there talking about, he walked home with $15K, because, I mean, this is what it's about. This is like the old school way of bringing back tournaments, making arm wrestling like, where people actually show up and it's not just all super matches and all that. And so I'm glad that we finally have somebody putting their money where their mouth is. I think besides that and people talking about how much money they're winning and all, I think with that big reality show he's got coming up in 2025, the house is what I'm talking about. He's going to have 12 guys from all over the country, different weight classes and all. I think that's going to get the buzz going, and we're going to finally get some major turnout, because every elite arm wrestler should be showing up to events like that. You know what I mean? The money's there. I could see Sarah right there with the calculator out. She's thinking next year, like, yo, I'm going to be the one walking out of there with 15K, like, for sure. So, but
and I think the possibilities are endless, even for the female side of things. But you got to show up. I doubt Corey West is going to run out there and tell everybody he won $15,000, because the more quiet he is, the less people know about him, the better chance he's going to do it again. But I got to tell you, there's plenty of people that are climbing very, very fast. Corey's a very, very strong man. He is beatable. You just got to believe in it and know how to do it. And that's the thing is, you just got to want it bad, guys. It's like me making this comeback. I'm 53 years old. And Paul, you kind of attest. If you've seen me, and Sarah, you was at Arizona State. I was 325 pounds, and I thought I looked great, and like everybody has a different opinion about themselves. I've been fairly confident. I've been blessed with some good attributes. Abs at 320 pounds to start with is cool, but I learned a little bit more about your body and where your fat's stored, and some of the things that as the older you get, you start to think about. So I started attacking those and, doing a lot of reading, research, and training differently. And you've seen some of the result pictures. I don't share them with very many people. When I come out, I want to come out and perform, not only look good, but be strong and impressive all the way across the board. And, it's the hard work, man. Talent only goes so far. You got to put the work in, man. And I want everyone to see that, with belief in yourself and the right attitude, you can do anything at any age. And I think personally now, I look probably better than I ever have. I'm wearing nearly a 34-inch jean, XL shirts, I don't know.
Well, listen to this though, man. I'd rather hear you looking beefy and just like bigger, bro, because you're scaring me with this whole like I'm gonna be a model look and shit like this, bro. You about to go against a friggin' mountain coming in from Australia, man, and we just got to see him last week go and perform. And bro, you're gonna have to really lock yourself in now, man, because I don't think number 8's gonna do it, man, against a guy like Rickard, bro. Like, so we're gonna have to step things up in the next couple months, bro. What's your thoughts on that?
Again, pulling 2 weeks in a row, training all week.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 70% at best, and I'm still in one of the best matches of the day with the guy that takes second place at the World Series of Arm Wrestling. I think I'm right in the mix of where I need to be. Right now, I'm training started, and you sent me a message today talking about, hey man, be careful. Hey, listen, man, I'm sure that guy's strong, but I assure you, he's going to get everything he wants and more from me. There is absolutely no weakness. I've actually gone up in strength. My best bench of my life was last week. I did 405 for 12 at 280 pounds.
Fuck yeah, Hollywood's back, baby. Hell yeah.
Like I said, it's not just visual. I have no intentions of being a model. Like some way, listen, people can say they're pretty all day long, man. I never hit that mark, but I'll tell you what, I'm just a hardworking old dude that wants to succeed at something I've been in a long time and prove people that, say I can't come back or I ain't good enough or, I was lucky or whatever the case, man. I love the naysayers. I love the doubters. I may never stand on top of that mountain again as number one, but I could damn sure be in the mix and have fun doing it. So might as well look the best, while you're doing it. Maybe we'll get an opportunity, like you said, reality shows. Yeah, there's a lot more to that than what you see. And the quality is what's going to make a difference. Anybody can do a reality show, but it comes down to the overall quality, performance, and production. I've been a big part of that with AMC. So I'm looking to do a lot more with that project. Talking to Greg about it, and I may be more involved than people know, and if that's the case, then we're looking for some big things. So I'm excited about it as well.
We might have some little inside scoop right now. Tell me Don Hollywood's on the house. He's in the house, huh? Uh-oh.
Well, it's not a conversation that hasn't been had. I definitely wouldn't be a competitor, but let's put it this way: as far as being, some sort of part of it, you can guarantee, whether it's writer, host, you never know, just, behind the scenes, doing some things that makes a difference. Like I say, man, quality and entertainment is what I do. And hopefully everything comes out and it turns out to be a really good presentation that everybody wants to be part of, not only once, but multiple times in the future.
Hell yeah. I just got to catch up on a few comments here. We got Frank Beans. He says, Paul, are you familiar with the Mystic Theater in Petaluma, home to the World Championships back in the day? You should hold an event there, bring it back. Yeah, man. So I actually was at the McNear's, which is right above Mystic. It's the same owner. They actually just sold it a year back. And, I think they're doing things over and they're bringing back a bunch of life there. As far as arm wrestling events up in North Cal, for some reason it's just not the spot. Nobody wants to take the trip. There is a lot of pullers up here, but nobody actually shows up to tournaments. I've definitely noticed that when I first came into the sport. Bill Collins kind of told me the same thing. That's why it's very limited with North Cal and all. I don't think I'll be throwing any events up in North Cal. If somebody wanted to get behind it, I would definitely help them out. It would be a very cool venue. Anywhere in Petaluma, there's a few different places that they used to hold the worlds and all. It's just, the population as far as arm wrestlers, I don't know why. They all love the practice, but they do not show up to events. Kind of weird, but, that's the reality of things. We got Pro Gear Arm Wrestling says, Sarah goes dark before a match. She doesn't burn energy, but she looks hyper-focused before a match. So we're finding the inside scoop out right now. Hell yeah.
Nice.
Michael Nance says Don looked great Saturday. So I guess he was over there seeing you in action on Saturday. And we got Richard. He says, hit the thumbs up button, everyone, because it's free to do and we all here for the same reason. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate the support, brother, for sure. What else we got? Just watched. Here we go. Pipe fitting. He goes, just watched the AWE yesterday. Looked like a great event. And yes, the young South African continues to look very, very strong. So, Don, I got to ask you this, bro. Did you get to see that AWE event with Rickard in there? Thoughts?
Yeah. It looked like a fine event. I don't know those guys, so it's hard to, you can put a whole bunch of amateurs in a room and say they're all great, and one guy's going to look better than another. I don't know. Like I said, all I can do is take that, he's strong. He's pulled over Mataringa. He's pulled over Bowen. I believe I can do the same thing. I think that I've got some tools that he's never ran into. A ton of back pressure, an extremely good hand, a smashing hard hit, and working on some down pressure holds that are as good as anybody. I'm headed down to Wichita to work with Eric Gerlach. He's a very, very strong presser. Matter of fact, ended up undefeated in the finals, ended up losing to Artem Catch Can, or, I'm not very good at those names. I butcher most of them, but hell of a match. And then I'm going to get in with Devon Gagdeben, hopefully, as well. He's a strong presser at 320 pounds. And those guys are high ranked in the U.S. So I'll be prepared for him. But as far as watching an event, I don't know a lot of those guys. So it's hard for me, to gauge it off that. He looked impressive. I'm looking forward to the match. I expect to be in it 100%. I doubt very seriously it's one-sided. So
the only thing I'm a little nervous with you, bro, is just because I know you've been working on no fouls, and you said you fouled out this past weekend. That was just a red flag to me, man. Like, how are we going to get that figured out? Because the one thing is they call those fouls a lot, man. Like, I believe the head ref is Jody and Paulina, and they're pretty tight with the fouls and all. So just keep that in mind in your training, bro.
Sure. Well, again, second tournament, 2 weeks in a row, long, big, strong match with Wallace. A lot of inside elbow pain, a lot of shoulder pain, a lot of stamina issues. So you start trying to do things to get around that. And false start, elbow foul, false start gets you fouled out. Was successful in them. But again, I didn't agree with them. It was hard to protest. There was no camera angles to go back to, unfortunately. So that's something I think we need to work on. I think my timing was dead on, and I've proven that right before. But again, it is what it is. I'll just take it as a training session. That was the whole purpose, is to get in there and get a match with Corey or Wallace. That was my goal, or maybe even Robbie. To find out, gauge where I was, and I'm right where I want to be. So it's not about placing. You'll see a lot of stuff from me. I train 100% all the time. So I'm never going to be 100%. So don't take me getting losses as something to be concerned with, because it's all training to me until it matters. So just remember that.
Okay. And Sarah, what was your thoughts of seeing Don back on the table this past weekend?
Yeah, great. And I can confirm his shape, sick right now. We all touched his abs. So,
Hey. I'm proud.
Yeah, but no, it's great seeing him back in action.
Appreciate it.
On the table and just us on the microphone, very entertaining. It's awesome.
What's your thoughts of Rickard Borman? Have you seen this young phenom, and what's your thoughts on his quick journey into arm wrestling, and already number one in Australia, so to say?
Who, me?
Yeah, you, Sarah. I'm seeing if you're sizing him up yet. Now you haven't seen much of him yet?
No, I don't.
Okay. That's somebody you got to start checking him out, man. This guy, he's a year and a half in. He's already holding Lachlan, center, playing around with him. He was a professional rugby player. This dude is like a real athlete. I think he's about 6'3", 285 pounds. I mean, he's very young, 21 years old. And the guy that he's going against right now in the video, that's Brett Coots. That guy's probably number 2 in Australia. He's been pulling 18 years, has wins over Ron Beth, Ryan Bowen, and dude is got the experience. And you could obviously see what Rickard did to him. Made it pretty easy. And before the match, Brett was saying he thought he figured out the formula, to beat Rickard, and obviously, that didn't go too well for him. But definitely, Sarah, you got to check this dude out, man. This dude is the real deal, and
he looks very strong. Yeah,
you're gonna get to meet him January 25th. Don's got his hands full, and I thought it was so cool. Actually, you were there. You were at Knuckles Up 4 at the halftime show. All of a sudden, Rickard showed up on the big screen, and he called out Don Don was just like, "Hey, boy, you ain't ready for this yet." Like he kind of was sunning him in a way and all. So the shit talking has already begun. This is going to be a good one. I expect a lot of hype and a lot of build up and all. And I'm really curious to see how this goes because we really don't know where Rickard's at. I know Rickard's beating up on all Australia and all that, but we really don't know how Australia stacks up with internationally. And I definitely want to see, is the hype really real? Like, he's going to get it. This is his first true, and I don't take nothing away from anybody else that he's pulled, but I mean, now he's going against a legend here. He's going against somebody that's got many, many years in the game. This dude is the guy. I mean, he was probably number one, for many years in, couple years back and all that. He's been on the big stage so many times. So I'm really curious to see how this goes. But I'm just hoping that Don isn't sleeping on this guy also, and that's my only concern. And as long as, bro, that's all I'm asking, bro, as long as we get to see the war and you keep that elbow down, because I would hate to see this end. Right. That's my only nightmare, bro, would be for it to end on fouls, bro.
No, I agree with you. And the substance of my training is down pressure. I talked about, the handles before that Jody Harper sent me. And it's all down pressure with those cables. I'm starting some super heavy side pressure, down pressure post training. It's going to be a lot different. Again, heading down to Wichita, training with some pressers. And they're going to be laying on my arm, and down pressure is the only way to stop that. I feel pretty confident. Like I said, don't sleep on me, guys. I will be prepared. I will be ready. And remember, I'm steadily getting stronger every day. I'm in the gym doing the work. I promise you, this kid ain't putting half the time in I am, and he may be something special. I hope he is. Like I said, I wish him the best. But I assure you, it's going to be a fucking dark day if you think you're going to show up and walk on me, because it ain't happening. You talking about intensity earlier, you're going to see I have to keep my adrenaline down in order for me to get my cardio and keep it. That's why you don't see this crazy asshole that used to be running around screaming and hollering. It's in there, and it might just end up showing up. The last time I did it is when I beat Wallace the first time I pulled him and ended up running into some cardio issues called over celebration, and I don't want to fall into that trap. So I've still got some power that I'm not using, and I expect this match to really get heated. I don't like getting beat up on. So if the guy does come in and do something, I assure you, I'm not going to sit there and put the same pair of pants on. I've got a bunch of different ways to pull, and if he beats me, he's going to have to beat me in every single one of them. So it'll be fun. The elbow will be down. It'll be up from time to time too, I'm sure, just depending on what we transition to, and hopefully it works out in my favor.
Don, what's your Sarah, did you get the pull? Was there any after pulling this past weekend?
No, it ended so late. It's like 8 p.m., right? And we were hungry and they needed to clean up Harley Davidson. So I got like maybe 4 pulls in before I had to stop. So
now, how come it took so long? Was there a lot of entries? Was it they didn't do many tables? Like what was the issue with that?
Yeah, Don, can you know?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. You're never going to see after pulling for a couple reasons at the World Series. For liability purposes, they set up. It's a production setup, a teardown production setup. I mean, so if there is a table, it's typically going to have to be brought by somebody, and it's going to have to be put up outside the event somewhere where liability doesn't take place. Because there are so many people that are watching and people that haven't signed waivers, and with Greg doing the production, so it's very difficult, let alone just trying to keep people off their phones from filming. You've got a lot more stuff to watch out for. So we keep it simple. That's all part of the production, part of the set. But just in the future, guys, if you have a table, throw it in the trunk, throw it in the truck. Once it's over, bring it back to the hotel, and we'll have pulls. But a lot of people don't know that because they're just not paying attention. But if you go to any World Series event, you will not get any after pulling because the tables come down and they go on to the next place. These are weekly shows. So it's a setup, tear down, moves on to the next event. But that's the reason why. And yeah, everybody.
How many entries were there, Don?
There was about 15 to 18 in each class. On the pro side, everything went perfect. The time was right. We figured everything to be right about 6 or 6:30 to be done. So scheduling was a little over, but I mean, Greg's pretty spot on his events. And it's not going to be as simple next year because I think the numbers are really going to grow. And we will fix that. We will bring in more refs, run more tables, and we'll keep it to a 4 to 5 hour event. That's what we plan on doing.
That's why I'm bringing this up, man, because when I hear like 8 hours, bro, like that's a problem. You know, I feel like we need to figure out, 4 hours is like the sweet spot. 5 hours is like max because, it gets way too long, man. And, I think that's just something that could discourage people from going, so I think, you kind of got to figure that out. How many tables did you have going at one time?
Ran 3 tables. And I mean, if you're talking 2 to 3 hours difference, you got to figure that you've got production, post-production, interviews. This is not just a tournament, guys. This is a production, so it is going to take longer. There's more things involved. Now, overall, the tournament ran pretty quick. He ran them down to the top 2. The pros were done. Then he ran the amateurs, so the pros were able to take the time and relax and do the things that they needed to do, get food and rehydrate, all that. But again, not a typical tournament. This is a feature that's going on a network, so there is more involved. So a 5 hour normal tournament, which is really fast, you've got to add in that 2 to 3 hours for all the post-production stuff, interviews, and all the little things. And that really is probably the high side. But if you double competitors, it's not going to change. But at the end of the day, next year, you're probably looking at $250,000. You're looking at bigger, better things. I'm the national marketing sales manager now. I'm going to be blowing businesses up, product placement, endorsements. We're looking for everything for everybody, including most of you guys on this screen. We've talked to Sarah about potentially doing some commentating. We don't know for sure exactly where everything's going to land, but I can just tell you, all of you, everybody on the screen here is going to be a part of something great. Keep supporting, keep doing what you're doing. You got the 24-hour channel launching next week. Paul, I think you're probably going to get some really good opportunities there. I'll be reaching out to you and talking to you about some things. Anything that you got and people that you know, always reach out to me, and we can make sure to try to get you the placements that you need and other things, because I'm going to need some information from all of you. So like I said, I'll be talking to you guys a lot more in the very near future. But yeah, as far as time goes, I mean, it's a production. So in order to get paid and to get it done right, it's going to take a little bit longer.
And I think the more that you do things, I think that, you guys will get that sweet spot and figure how to, to minimize the time and all. Because I really, that's one of those things that we really got to work out. You know what I mean? And I get it with the whole production and all, but still, man, like nobody wants to be there for 8 hours doing. We got to keep it to that 4 or 5 hour time, whatever we got to do to make that happen. I strongly feel that is something serious, and especially when you got these guys, if you're pulling at the beginning of the day and then you got to come back later, I mean, that whole dead time, that's definitely, kind of sucks in that way. But I know Greg's a very smart guy. I know he's on top of it. You guys got an amazing team, so I know you guys will dial this in, and you'll figure out the right ways to go about it. I want to ask Sarah, what was something that stuck out to you over at the World Series? Was something that you enjoyed that day? Like,
just the professionalism. Like, it was up on a stage, really cool backdrop featuring all the sponsors. So from a camera, like I sat right behind the camera, it reminded me of the old Slotty Tour days, and I like that a lot. Keep the athletes always notified when they're about to pull. It was very efficient. Plus the venue was cool too. There was food there. They had drinks, alcohol, just Harley Davidson bikes everywhere. Like it's a nice vibe in there.
How does the food and drinks work there? I mean, are they did it have like a food truck that came, or
Yeah, food
okay.
outside, yeah. And,
That's smart. Yeah, that's real smart. Because I was kind of curious, like when we were doing the Harley Davidson, I'm like, how are they going to work the whole food and drink thing? But that's something that a lot of promoters should talk with is, find your local food trucks. And, that might be another good sponsor opportunity for people as well. Because, I mean, it benefits both worlds. So I think that could be something for future people to look into. And Sarah, can we expect you? I don't know. Are they doing for the house? Are they looking for ladies? Is there any opening yet, or we got to wait for a season or two? Don, can you inform us on any of that?
Greg and I have a meeting scheduled now that the World Series is done. My next step is voiceover to clean up and do everything with another professional commentator from the bodybuilding world, potentially using Sarah in some things and some. I don't know where everything's sitting right now, but of course, we want the elite. We want the people. We're going to bring in people from different places. Matt, I told you guys to talk and reach out and look at those applications. Same thing with Sarah. Different people, celebrities. Some of these guys that are followers of TikToks and YouTubers and these things. Arm wrestling is growing very rapidly, and this is just going to throw it deeper in the spotlight. One thing I wanted to reiterate was, this tournament that was 8 hours, the professional side of it would have been done in 3. Okay, so you got to remember that we're running ladies, we're running all the amateur divisions. This is not just the single pro tournament. So, if you separate it like that, you're looking at maybe a 3-hour pro tournament. So if it need be, and there is possibilities depending on production and cost and what we can come up with as it grows, more than likely a lot of this will separate. We'll run the pro division probably alone, or maybe run the amateur division on Friday night.
That's what I was about to say. 2 days would be probably the perfect setup,
Yeah, and I think overall, it's kind of a learning thing as we go. Like you said, 8 hours is a lot, and these are things that I will discuss. You got to remember that we get daily rates, so you're talking about quite a bit more money, but there's ways around that. Bringing in junior referees for the amateurs, bringing in some of the lady referees that want to do that for the ladies, and bringing the cost down, because you're going to get paid for, whether you're an elite or you're a senior or all those things. I think there's a stepping stone way to do this. And these are all little conversations that Greg and I are having. And over the years, as this grows, it's only going to get better, smoother. And guys, don't concern it with the time. I mean, we will fix it. Eventually, we might only have a 2 or 3 hour window because we're live on ESPN, which is what we're expecting. These things, are going to happen. Maybe we get 45 minutes. You got to think the Arnold's is a timed event as well. So we've got to figure it out. And this is just now when it's starting to become a little bit overwhelming, I got to tell you. And that's a good thing. Arm wrestling's growing. And when you start to have these problems, those are good problems to have.
Hell yeah. And I just want to say this, Don. The reason why I'm the guy that says this shit, man, is it's constructive criticism. And I know a lot of people like just to be nice and they just sell you all the good things. But I'm that guy, man. I'm going to be straight up because, I'm trying to be
nice. No,
but that's what I mean, bro. I'm that
off.
dude, bro, that, I hit up Knuckles Up and I do the same thing. And I'm like, all right, this is what we need to, fix this. And, what I love about them is from day one, they were very acceptive to it. And it wasn't just like, yeah. They would actually go and put it into action in the next one. And as like, I know, Greg, I know you're a very smart man. You guys been doing this for a very long time. And that's why I'm saying this, so, everybody else might just kind of be quiet, but I'm like, I'm going to be that dude, like, kind of coming off as an asshole, but, I'm saying what a lot of people are thinking in their head, and, and I think just by making that as like one of the priorities for the next event, that's something that you guys could put on the top and be like, all right, let's see if we could cut it down, maybe at least an hour, maybe hour and a half. And each time you get a little better. And, I've been that guy, bro. I've through so many events, and I would love to hear from, and everybody was always with the time thing. And if you remember when we did our 4-way, remember in Oklahoma, bro, we got that so fucking down. It was 350 dudes. And I think 4 hours we were in and out. And it was all because the second we said we would go, bro, that second, my man Matt Craig was on there and starting. Even if everybody was all over the place, it would just go off at that exact minute that it was supposed to. And also, I'm just, I'm trying to help out and just make the events, giving a little criticism, hoping that it'll help everybody in the future and all. So, Sarah, what could we expect, for Knuckles Up, your big match against how do you say her name? What's the proper way?
Elen.
Okay, Elen. How old is she and how long has she been pulling?
I think she's 20 years old and she's been pulling since she was little. Like I remember she was like 7 years old, like a kid, beating everybody. Like I think she has more world titles than me.
At 20 years old, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. And so we haven't seen much of her. What was like the biggest stage or the biggest match that you've seen her in action with?
Yeah. So she went to the Slotty Tour 2019. She beat Thea there. But that was also the year Aoife and WOF separated. And Elen went with Aoife and Thea went with WOF. So, but then they had a match again at the Swedish Nationals, I believe 2 years ago, maybe. And Elen beat Thea again in one arm. I don't really remember which arm, and the other beat the other. So they're very even. They're right there with each other.
So what does that tell you now? So how do you view yourself against Thea? I know this hasn't gone down in many years, but like, let's be honest right now. Do you look at Thea and be like, oh, I can take her? Or like you're in your head like, know about that?
Oh, I have so much respect for her. Like I always tell everyone that she's the one arm wrestler that's been the most consistent. I don't care what you say. She's been the most consistent arm wrestler of all time. Like she was there the day I started, November 19, 2006. Like she was there greeting me at the Team Stockholm Arm Wrestling, right? And I had come and gone, right? And she has delivered 2 babies. Like she competed with a big stomach, and then she like gave birth, and then the next month she competed again.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like she never stopped. Never. Like she trains every day. She competes every month for as long as I've known her, 18 years this month. So like she's a superstar. She's a freak, right? So I cannot underestimate her. I haven't arm wrestled her in 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so let's stop being that. We all know how good Fee is. I want the dirt right now. It's just you and Mikey right now talking. What would you say? Be like, yo, I got her. I would go right through her. Like, come on, be honest here right now.
Ain't gonna happen, Paul. There's too much respect from Sarah. I promise you. Listen, I can tell you one thing. I learned a lot about her.
She's feeling a little spicy right now. Come on, Sarah.
No.
Come on. What would you have percentage-wise of beating Thea? What would you today if you had an arm wrestler right now and you had to put on $100 million, $100,000 right now on the match? Are you beating her?
Yes.
Boom! That's what I wanted. Yes, that's what I wanted. Okay, all right. So we know that you got in your head you could beat Thea and all. And what do you think now about this young 20-year-old coming in there? Do you think that you're the favorite in here? I mean, you got it. I mean, with your experience and all.
You would think. But again, I believe she's been more consistent than me. Like I don't compete. I just practice and I go to the gym. I'm in my comfort zone. I don't put myself like I don't compete, right? I think
Sarah, you live in the gym. I don't think you go home sometimes. I think you just train nonstop. I mean, you go and you beat up all these dudes in Florida. You line them up twice a week and make them look like nothing.
so different. We talk about that switch. I don't turn the switch on in the gym in the practice, but this girl Elen, she has that switch. So she reminds me of me way back when. Like she's consumed by it. Like it's not her. Like she's a completely different person. You can see like her eyes are different when she comes off the table versus when she's on the table, right? Like it's very rare to see it, but she has that talent.
So 20-year-old Sarah versus Elen, who wins?
Oh, me. Like I just know me that back then, like I said earlier in the show, I knew in my soul nobody wanted it, deserved it more, or trained harder than I did at the time. So, yeah.
So I love when I get you on these quick, because just how quick and how you said that, I know where your mind's at right now. You got this in the bag. I feel like you're coming home with the belt January 25th. You got this. Mm-hmm. I can see the confidence coming off you. Now, do you think it's going to be, with her have to traveling and, being on this big stage, you think the big stage could also, make her a little nervous?
Sure. She actually made a post about that not long ago, how this is such a big step for her in her career, and she's coming to the US for the first time, I believe. So, of course, taking travel into consideration, being on a big card at a big production, it changes things.
That's her right there going against Fia?
Yeah. Big hit. She's got a really good side hit, man.
Yeah.
Down pressure's good. Down pressure's good. Drive that elbow forward, get some leverage. She's got some talent
too. Like there are more recent ones, I believe, but like just understand, like she's like 16 years old here, where Fia is like 35, maybe. Like they're 20 years apart, I think.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Very talented. Super strong chick. Wow.
Don, what's your thoughts on this match, the 25th? Who are you gonna pick if you got your house on the line?
I'm taking Sarah. Listen, I don't know Sarah very well, but I can tell you that it's very easy to listen and hear. She's telling you everything you want to hear in the interview right now. She's just being very humble, and I can appreciate that. I, too, am a weirdo when I turn into Hollywood. And if you don't have the switch and you control your adrenaline, you wouldn't understand Sarah, and she has it. And the passion she has, just speaking to her, and like I said, I've gotten very little time with her, but I was super impressed just with her overall humbleness. But when I said to her, "Let me feel your hand, I've never got to grip up with you," and a little sparkle, a lot of "I'm about to fuck this old man up" shit got into her head. And of course, there's some guys, chanting and rooting, and she's got it. She's got a switch, and I think it's going to be trouble for anybody, because that's a very powerful young lady and has a ton of passion. And listen, it's just like the kid I'm pulling, man. You got a dog in front of you, somebody that wants it. There's somebody we're going to watch for many years after we're done with this. Kind of like Bruce Way and Woolsey and all those guys were there watching us and thinking, man, I used to be that good, or I used to be somebody. And we'll be doing the same thing in 20 years with these guys. And to be a part of their future is pretty special. So I want to put a Band-Aid on them. I want to send them home with a scalded ass. And I want Sarah to do the same thing to that young lady, because it will only make them better.
Yeah. Don, what's your percentage at as far as you getting to win that day?
Oh, I have every intention of ruining this guy's life. Like I said, the next 3 months is a whole nother deal. Nobody has seen anything yet. What you're seeing, Paul, you've seen the pictures. You guys have a gym. Sarah, you guys know the shape I'm in. Now I'm going to put on about 15 pounds of muscle, and my stamina is going to be insane. I'm going to walk in about 290 pounds, and I'm going to take charge. I mean, I'm not kidding around anymore. This is 100% real. This guy asked for a big bite of this cake. I'm going to bring it. Iced up, pretty happy birthday with candles burning. You can have as much of it as you want. I just don't think you're going to like what's inside.
So I'm going to say this, bro. I've been in 4 years into the sport, and I've got to see you compete a few times. You come to a bunch of my events. You know, we've always talked, and I seen, you know, the skill was always there, but the body just wasn't working with you, man. Like, I just remember with the hip problems, I remember, you know, you'd give it everything you had, but then I'd see you walk away from the table and you could just see the pain in your eyes, bro. Like, it was like you wanted to be the old Don, but it just, your body wasn't letting it happen. And then when I heard that you got the hip replacement and you know, seeing now the pictures, you know, I'm hearing people talk that have pulled you recently, and you know, this is definitely, in the last 4 years, in my opinion, this is the best Don Hollywood Underwood that we're gonna see. Am I correct in saying that, Don?
I mean, I think it's a version of what's to be. I think it's a good start, but yeah, man, we're nowhere close to where it's going to be. Like I said, Carl, I mean, you're pulling top 12 guys in the country, and I'm just getting started, man. Like I said, that was 12 pounds ago. That was 288, 289.
When was this? Because Carl Stanley is an absolute animal right there. How long?
Yeah, I felt like I dominated him strength-wise. I mean, he's very good inside that shoulder. This was when was Michael Moody's the barn event? That was what, 2 months ago, September 10th, September 21st.
Yeah.
So
this is just recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. I thought this was.
And then I caught that, like right there, catch me in a hook, is pulling these guys. Now you'll see me sit down on my elbow. This is what I need to do. Got to go, Carl. Bye bye. You know, there's proper ways to pull. If your elbow's floating in the air, you know this. You have no power when you're floating in the air.
No.
The more down pressure you have and the more you're able to pivot and run off of that, there's a quick flash pin. See, I'm changing technique as I go. Guys, I'm learning how to do this again. I've been out of the sport an awful long time. And it's not something that you can just jump back into. These guys are different strong than they used to be. I'm going to tell you right now, this is a whole nother level of pulling. This Don Underwood right here probably would have beat the best version of Don Underwood at that point. That's how good these arm wrestlers are getting. Look at this transition I'm getting into. I'm starting to do presses. I'm doing all sorts of different stuff, guys.
The only thing I'm scared right there, bro, is I'm watching that elbow, and I just know, you know, Paula and Judy are not going to let that go. I can't express that enough, bro. They are strict. So
don't worry.
Did you take the shirt? Oh my God, he's got the shirt off, abs out, and everything.
Well, here, listen. I tried to take off the kryptonite shirt because I couldn't get it off, and the whole thing came off. So I was like, hell with it. And you want to see the funny part? They say I come off the front here as I'm transitioning my press. It's very close. But watch Carl. This is the funniest part of this whole video. My shirt comes off. Now he grabs his hand. Watch what he tries to do with his shirt. And listen, the shirt won. He couldn't get it off. He tried to rip his shirt. He's like, son of a bitch. Oh, so that was the best part of the day. Great match. Strong kid. I look forward to plenty of matches with Carl. What a great dude, man. Like I said, that was about 15 pounds ago. So
how are you going to deal with this kid's press, bro? Because the setup he does,
you got to get there first, man. He ain't fast enough to get there. First of all, I'm not worried about his press, and if I have to worry about it, I'll be prepared for it. I'll get out on the end of his hand, take his hand, and I plan on being able to rotate and push right through it. I mean, I've got a 500-pound plus bench press. I've got a really good push. If I can keep, like you said, my elbow down with a ton of down pressure, it's going to be hard to move me. That is when you're locked into the table. The harder your elbow is into that pad, the less chances you're going to move. And if people don't understand that, start taking all the weight off your feet and hang on a table with your elbow on the pad and see if you can move somebody that's usually, you know, fairly weak. You're going to find a big difference. That's the key. It's like putting brake pads on a rotor.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt. I know Sarah has to get going. That's all. I just wanted to sneak that in there before we jumped onto this. But yes, I think Sarah has got something on, or she's got to head off.
Yeah, it's like 11:30 p.m. and my bedtime is at 9 usually.
Hey, I'm past mine too, girl.
Thank you so much for coming on tonight, Sarah. I really appreciate that.
And so much. Thank you for
wishing you the best Thursday.
Did she pop her? did she pop her steak dinner tomorrow? Sarah, I hope you told everybody about your event.
Yeah, next Thursday.
Okay, yeah, good. I wish I could be there. Best of luck. Have a great time. Thanks for coming.
Beef Brawls, everybody check it out. Keep an eye on Sarah's profile. She'll be posting that up where everybody could watch it. Like I said, she's got a big match left-handed against a dude, Matt Bias, who's got some huge mitts going on. 176-pound guy. I think they're going to go down to 165, but this is definitely going to be a test for Sarah. This is, I think I'm just as excited about this match over Ron and Andre. I think that's going to be a great one as well. But this one I really like because I know Matt personally, and I know he's a great puller. So, guys, definitely get over there, support Sarah. Let's definitely get that. Also, get over to her website, sarahbachman.com. Order your MAGA shirt. You know, it's the perfect time to order it right now. There's not many left, so you better get on it quick, you know, because everybody's putting in big orders. I got myself a couple. She's also got the I Love Arm Wrestling. Everybody around the world is wearing it. I believe Matt just he got his over in Australia. Ryan Bowen's been rocking it as well. So definitely show your support for Sarah. And thank you again, Sarah. Wish you the best Thursday. And then January 25th, Knuckles Up. She's got her hands full with a young up-and-coming puller, 20 years old, world champion superstar. So this is going to be some serious fireworks. So thank you again. Is there anywhere you'd like to shout out, Sarah, for people to check you out?
No, you did it so perfect. So thank you for that.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, have a great night, Sarah. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Cool. So, Donnie, all right, man. So let's break into this, man. I just, you know, the only thing that's concerning is elbows, bro. I'm gonna keep saying like a broken record. I'm just gonna
bring it. Hey, listen, it's all good, man.
See the old Don Underwood come out, bro, and just put on a show because a lot of people got you counted out on this one. And I'm like, yo, Don is the real deal, and I know he really wants to make this comeback legit, and this is the perfect statement to do. If you could go and slow down his hype train, that would be amazing, bro. So whatever you got to do to fucking keep that elbow down, and I think it's going to be a war. And then my other question for you, bro, is he's got such a long arm, like a high lever. So my thoughts is you're going to be on the front of that pad, right, taking full advantage, and he's going to have to go all the way back, and he's going to be open a lot. So I see an opportunity right there in just the setup. Am I right with that, bro?
Big muscles versus small muscles every time. So yeah, he's gonna have to be a very smart kid. Like I said, I've got 10 different techniques. I know there's only 5 or 6 matches, whatever the setup is. Guys, I'm watching that event. I'm just watching a little bit of the footage where you had Coots against him. Listen, man, I'm not gonna pull like that, dude. There's no fucking way. I'm diving. I'm going to come at you. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to sit down on it. I'm going to give you a chance to pull through me. And if you can't, your day's done because I will outlast you. I can do it all day long. And I'll come back out. I got a great hand on top rope. I'll do everything I can. So I'm going to give him a chance, but I'm going to pull this dude. I'm not going to sit back and do all this arm. No, I'm coming. Let's go. Lay in there. Show me what you got.
I wouldn't give him a shot until friggin' round 4 when you already got it in the bag, bro. You got to go 150%. I wouldn't give that.
If he can pull for 10 straight minutes and then do a round, the next match he can pull 2, then good, because that's what he's going to have to do. But I'm going to try to suck every bit of life out of him in match 1, and then I'm just going to do what I do. So be ready, because I'm going to be pulling for 4 hours a day. You're going to be pulling for 15 minutes a week. I've already heard how I ain't going to be late for practice where I come and look good with other people. You hear me? I'm not an hour late. I'm an hour early. And I'm an hour after everyone else leaves. I'm that dude. All right? So show up on time and be the best. Not the guy that comes in last. I know plenty of those guys. And they're decent. But, man, I don't play that shit. So
Rickard Borman, if you are listening, you are on call right now, son. This man is spitting facts right here. He's saying stop showing up to practice late and saying you're beating everybody. So you better remember this that day, January 25th, man. If you disagree with that, You're gonna have to put it out on the table. But this is a legend speaking, and he is amped up, and I could tell, bro, he's taking this serious. He's training 4 hours a day. This is like a full-time job for this guy right now. He is really taking his comeback seriously. You could look at him; he's looking like the real deal. Got to ask you this, bro: if you were just Rickard, well, let's knock Rickard out of the AWE 8-man. Now it's just you and the 7 other dudes. Would you be the king of that country right there? Would you be number 1 in Australia?
I would expect so. Like I said, Australia is very new to the sport. I will never take anything away from a grown man that puts time and effort into being something great. Unfortunately, that's a long ways from Kansas City, Missouri. That's a long way from Kansas Toto. You've heard it all before. So, I would think that I put myself in the mix of everything. Like I said, I dove right in with Wallace Dilly. Wallace Dilly is won everything in the country. All right, he's been down to Florida East versus West, winning right and left, Kansas, Missouri, Colorado. He just took second at the World Series of Arm Wrestling. This guy's literally rolling over everybody. And when I tell you, him and I may have had the best match of the day at the World Series of Arm Wrestling. Should say an awful lot for a guy that just pulled the tournament last week and trained everything full body, right, all week without a break up till Friday. And then come in Saturday and was still able to compete with the top guys in the country. I think that says an awful lot. So give me time to rest. Give me 2 weeks, break where I have no pain in my elbows, where I've got no reason to elbow foul because, my arm feels like it's falling off the bone. You start doing things out of desperation when you're beat up. But that's what I'm doing is I'm training, just like Sarah said. Everything I do is training. It's not about winning. It's about learning and getting better every time. Stop elbow fouling. Continue to hit different directions, learn where these people are pulling. I started the match with Wallace here. He crushed down. He elbow fouled. I was like, oh, shit, this guy's going to lay right on top of me. There's no way. So what I do, I switched up, came across, dove in with him, and we had a war. But you've got to be able to make adjustments very, very fast on this table. And a guy pulling a year and a half, man, if he beats me, and I hear these people talking all this, great white hope stuff coming out of Australia and this, that, and another, and he beats me like that, yeah. But it just ain't going to happen. I'm just going to tell you, it's not going to happen. Plain and simple. There ain't very many people, including the elite guys, that can get in there and just do that. I'm always going to be in the match. So,
Don, what's going on with the any injuries or anything, or are you like 100%, other than being beat up from pulling so much, but are you looking healthy everywhere else?
You've seen the pictures, all I could say is, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm starting to change from the volume over to a lot heavier. So I'm going to be doing a ton of static holds. With the 150 plus, a lot of 200-pound cable holds, those kind of things, down pressure holds, and pull-ups until I shit myself. And listen, at my age, I keep diapers on hand anyway, so I'm able to do that.
In this video against Travis, what was your weight there?
325.
325.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, your training then compared to today, does it look the same or has it changed over time?
Arm wrestling, gym was good. Lot of arm wrestling, man. Lots of arm wrestling. I had 40 students that I trained at that time, and I drank myself silly arm wrestling, many times during the week. And man, I don't know. Like I said, that was just a different dude. And
what was different? What was different then? Was it like, were you party mode, Don? Then were you like, you were an animal, just on and off the table.
Yeah, man. You just go head first in, and I was lightning fast. I was super strong. People like Devon don't bother me. It makes me better. I love the arrogance. I love just taking. That's what I'm saying. This shit's pissing me off, man. These people building up some guy pulling for a year and a half, and God bless the guy if he's the next Great White Hope or the next Larratt or the next Brazing. Man, that's awesome.
We call him
But
the young phenom, bro. Get it right. I'm fucking with you.
Well,
I'm just
man,
I'm poking
I
the
can
bear
make
right
that
now.
really-
If you haven't noticed, Don, I'm trying to get you amped up, bro. I want to see it,
Well,
man.
it's working. Like I said, he's gonna, just like Devon and Travis, they like running their mouths. Well, get started because you want to pull the best version of me out. Start saying some dumb shit. Like I said, man, I ain't no nice dude when it comes down to it. I'm a very humble guy that has been in very dark places. I'm not afraid of nothing. I'm not afraid of the dark. Like I said, I've been there. I lived in it, and it ain't shit. So it's very difficult to rattle me. I could tell you some stories that would run chills up your spine. And it's easy to say, but, becoming a human being after what I've been through and what I've seen, it's hard for a lot of people to do. So that's the difference between me and that guy. Because
bring the savage back out, bro. Bring it out for the fucking day, because they're trying to say a guy that's a year and a half is going to come mop the floor with your 30 years experience, and you're going to let that happen? Fuck that.
Yeah, attaboy. Yeah, you're on the right track. I'll be ready. I'll be ready to go. There's no doubt. And like I said, at the end of the show, we'll shake hands and we'll tell stories and lies the rest of the night, just like we always do, man. I'm just excited to be a part of it. Paul, I'm glad you're there. Matt, you keep doing what you're doing. Guys, again, I can't tell you all enough. And all you listeners out there, call somebody and tell them to pay attention to the World Series of Arm Wrestling. You guys, this is what it takes. This is what we've begged for years. We always like, man, tournaments, or you get these 50-cent trophies and $40 entry fees. Yeah, man, this is what you ask for, but no one's showing up. And like I said, some people get bored with it. Greg's just not. Maybe he's just knucklehead enough to keep doing this stuff till people catch on. And I hope so, because like I said, I'm shoulder to shoulder with the guy. And it's nice to have someone that will actually sit back and listen to somebody with no expectations of doing something of grandeur for themselves, but it's actually for the sport. Very difficult to find that. And you've got two of them, myself and Greg Sharp, that are fighting for the sport, and we want to see it mainstream.
Don,
but guys,
don't you worry, bro. I'm on this, bro. I see what Greg's doing. I'm 100% fan. I told him, bro, I'm gonna start going all my energy and all that. I got a couple organizations I really support and I really believe in. AWE being one of them. Matt kindly over here, also Knuckles Up. They're doing the great energy, and I said the same thing with Greg, man. And after hearing his whole thing, because I really think the key is the reality show. I think that connected in with the World Series. People just got to know what's going down. This is the first time I'm hearing actual numbers. 15 grand Corey West walked home with. That's what we needed to hear. That's what guys like Dave Chafee, Travis Bajan, they need to hear those numbers. That's the fucking magic number to make these guys go. They don't got to go travel across the world, sit on a friggin' 16-hour flight and go to middle of nowhere. They could go right here in our country and come walking home with a huge payday, and that's it, bro. And I remember from day one when I was in this sport, Travis kept saying it. That's the way, not the super matches. If you want to go and you want to change this sport, you start blowing up the old tournament styles and put real money out there, and they will come. It's just, wasn't enough people didn't hear about it. I think they heard it too late. They heard the finals, they seen the post 100K, but now I know everybody, because I seen Sarah right there. She's there with the calculator in her head, like, fuck, I could have fucking walked home with 20K this past weekend. And also, we know she'll be there 100%. Anybody that just listened and heard that 15K for Corey West, I mean, dudes are gonna start traveling. I'm gonna be blowing it up. Whatever events he's got coming up, I'm gonna just putting spotlight on. So we will get the word out there. 2025, it will be Greg Sharp's year. He's putting his money where his mouth is. Not many guys do that. So we all will get behind him and support him. And I'm really super excited about that. I'm really, really so happy that you're coming back, bro. Like, you know, I feel like, you know, when I came into the sport, you know, you really weren't, you know, you were trying, but like I said earlier, the body wasn't going together.
Right.
I see the change in things, and I just, bro, you are one of those assets to this sport, man. You're like a Travis, bro. The best shit motherfuckers back. I know, I don't mean to do that, but you know what I'm saying, bro.
Fucking fighting words.
I'm trying to really poke at you this tonight, man. Trying to get you going.
Listen, I'm with you, and let me tell you the really important part of Greg and what's going on, since we're kind of on that subject, is the consistency, guys. The tournaments are at the same place every year for the qualifiers. Okay, so if you want to be a part of it, the qualifiers have to be successful. So if they're not successful, they will go away. You know, Jacksonville, Atlantic City, Kansas City, Riverside, Utah, you know, these are things, guys, it's the same place every year. So you have no excuses. The schedule is already out. Stop signing contracts and not getting to arm wrestle for people. Come make some money. It's $500 per class winner. The overall gets $500. These are at the qualifiers. Now listen, pay attention. And we're going to have over $200,000 next year. I'm going to have product placements. I'm going to have Paul with cigar sponsors. Listen, guys, you got no fucking clue what you're missing out on. This is the opportunity that arm wrestling has been looking for. So stop running around signing contracts and not arm wrestling. Guys, there's no future in it. I've sit there and been told lies and tall tales from the best of them. You got to remember, I'm 35 years in this sport. I've been lied to more than anybody in the world. There's only a couple people out there that they wanted. You guys know it was Devon and Travis, okay? Well, that only goes so far, all right? The talent behind what's not Devon and Travis is so exciting. From the boys, the Bishops in Alabama, to me, you know, coming out of the woodwork with people like Austin Tevis and Bowles, and you run down to Texas and you see the Robbie Burnett's, or you run up, you know, they're everywhere and they're coming out of the woodwork. We've got it right here in the U.S. That's the World Series of Arm Wrestling. Arm Sports doing some things. Kansas City. You guys know where it's at. The Knuckles Up guys are kicking ass. And we want, listen, AWE, we want all you guys to understand there is no politics here. We don't care who you pull for. We're not going to tell you that we're mad at you or try to put you or disown you because you do so. All right? Come out. Let's make this sport the greatest thing on the planet, because you guys know it is. There's not a better, most pure sport in the world. And, you know, again, you can't walk into any football game and walk up to Patrick Mahomes and, dude, hey, man, what's up? Can I take a picture with you? Just want to say, hey, man, I think you're great. You've changed my life in so many ways. But you can do that with people like me that I've changed lives for. And Paul, you're starting to, and Matt, you're starting to. These are things that you're going to feel and understand that as a celebrity in this sport, and you guys are just now starting to, you know, be those, because you're FaceTime and people, you know, relate, whether it's podcast, television. Hey, you know, fucking Hollywood's done. Not me. I'm talking about real Hollywood. They showed their true colors through all this bullshit. Things are going a different direction in this world, guys, and you guys can be a part of it. But you got to show up, you got to support, and you got to believe. So support that, especially that 25th, and look out for season 2 getting ready to launch a World Series, season 3 coming up behind it, and we're starting season 4, man. We've got so much content. Once this thing throws up on you, you ain't going to be able to get it off your shirt, and that's what we're hoping for. So.
Hell
yeah,
yeah,
especially
bro.
with the $15,000 Corey West walked away with. That's more than a lot of the contracts, like the total contract over 3 years that I've seen from some of the East versus West contracts that are out there. So, you know, if you're looking to make money in arm wrestling, like, why would you go and restrict yourself to something that is way less than what you could earn in the World Series of Arm Wrestling?
I mean, second place paid like $1,500. I mean, it paid through 8th place. Listen, I got in the tournament, knowing it, no expectations. I was like, there's no way. My arm's beat to hell, but I'm going to jump in here because, listen, I can still pull out a couple wins and I might be able to place. And I did. I placed in the money. So regardless, it doesn't matter. Like I said, it pays through 8th. And if there's 8 badass arm wrestlers, listen, if you qualify, your room and board is taken care of. you gotta get transportation there. And if you're any kind of arm wrestler, you already got a sponsor that you can get there. I can call about 5 or 10 guys right now and go, hey, I need to be at Paul Italia's place for a one-on-one match with Matt Conley next Thursday. Need you there, get my ticket, get my room, let's get it done. And guess what, Matt? Your ass is getting kicked next Thursday. Simple as that. So,
yeah, I think it would, definitely.
But yeah, man, get out and support it, guys. I can't wait to do a lot of stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of business together, guys. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are professional. Your sets are great. Yeah, man, I can't wait to see what the outcome of this is in 5 years, because I plan on be hopefully sitting on the board and relaxing and not have to worry about young studs like Rickard in 5 years. But if I am, then good for me. But it's always been about the sport for me. I want this thing to be out there, and I'd love to be part of the future of it, even if it's behind the desk, making sure you guys are taken care of. So.
Hell yeah, Don. Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight, brother. Always love hearing from you, man. I love the energy. I love, with this big comeback. And you better believe it, I'll be there January 25th, and I will get you amped the fuck up, bro. I promise you that, man. So can't wait, man. And is there anywhere else that you'd like to shout out for people to check you out?
Yeah, man, just, not really. I'm kind of the guy. Listen, I see you on the show. Holler at me anytime. I always love to get on there and talk about the same shit and just rattle people a little bit. But just really just wake you guys up. And I think that, there's still a lot of people out there that enjoy listening to me talk a little bit. I try to keep it entertaining. I try to keep it light. But yeah, if you want to find me, it's, Facebook and Instagram. I've got some producers that are blowing me up, trying to get me to do some TikTok stuff. I don't know, man. That's a lot of work. My life's pretty busy with trying to make money. And, I love this sport, but I got to take care of my family too. And we're not quite there yet, but I'm hoping to be 100% full-time with Greg in the World Series very, very soon. So it's going to take you guys supporting us. And like I said, Paul, Matt, both of us, we need to have some personal phone calls, talk about what your goals are and some of the things that you want to do, so I can get some ideas and of where I need to go. And, Greg's going to be talking to you about the same stuff. We got a lot of future together, guys. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep pushing the sport. And, keep telling me to keep my elbow down. I sure am trying to listen, guys. So.
Hell yeah, brother. And if you can, man, oh shit, bro, hell yeah. But if you could take a few videos of like maybe some of your practice sessions or some of your lifts or whatever, send them over to me, bro. I'll put them out on the channel, and people want to see that, bro. They want to hear you, and do your classic Don Hollywood trash talking. We'd love that, some of those clips as well, bro. So thank you again.
I will work on it. And guys, I appreciate you having me. Matt, keep doing what you're doing. Paul, keep doing what you're doing, guys.
One last thing before you go. Keep the elbow down. Yeah, bro.
Love you, Joe.
Have a great night, man.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, man. He is amped up, bro. I gotta say, dude, like, I'm believing this, man. I think he's back, bro. We got Don Hollywood. Underwood is seriously back, and I can't wait to see this in person. What's your thoughts? I didn't want to say when he was on and all. What's your thoughts on the match? Because you just seen Rickard, do what he did, but was that a good, is that a good example? Was there anybody in there that you thought like had a shot beforehand, or did you kind of feel, he was going to do what he did?
Well, I thought that Rickard was the heavy favorite going in, and I think most people had that same feeling. But Brett Coots, obviously, he had been really training very hard for that event, and he'd been doing 2-a-day sessions. He really peaked for it. Unfortunately, he did get a little bit sick leading up to the event. He was supposed to have a left-hand match with Rickard, but he had to pull out of that. He still pulled in the tournament. But unfortunately for Brett, he wasn't able to really get anything going. Rickard just way too strong. And you see in that second round of the grand final match in the tournament, he just let Brett hit into position, and he just held him and just looked and went, okay, well, that's everything you've got, and now I'm just going to roll through it. So he's looking incredibly strong, in fine form. He's over in South Africa at the moment, just catching up with family and that sort of thing. But he'll be back in Australia for the build-up to his heading over to New Jersey for Knuckles Up on the 25th of January. That's going to be his match there with Don Underwood. But it will be incredible to see. I think it's like the perfect sort of match because you've got a young and upcoming lion who's, you know, being so dominant, and it's like, okay, well, let's see how he really goes against somebody who's been at the absolute top of the world and he's trying to get back there again. And so it feels like it's the perfect matchup, and it's like this is the best proving ground for both guys, because it's like for Don, it's like, do you still have it? You know, he is an up and coming next generation star. If you've still got what it takes, you know, you'll be able to put this guy in his place. But if Rickard has what it takes, he's going to be able to beat the older legend and then moving up towards those elite guys that are current. So as far as I can see, it's like the ultimate matchup. As far as who's going to win, I don't know. I think that again, it's one of those 50-50 matches for me, which is ideal, where you can't sit there and go, oh yeah, well, obviously he's just going to destroy him. It's like, well, this could go either way. I don't really know, which is amazing. I think it's going to be the first really big test for Rickard against somebody who's at that level, who is that strong, who knows the game inside out, has been doing it for 30 plus years. So it's the perfect opponent for Rickard after having sort of dominated the Australian side of things, apart from Lachlan, of course, which we'd love to see, but the contract restrictions prevent that from happening. But I think that it would be a fantastic match either way.
Yeah, your boy Dave, you know, he's pretty convinced. He says Rickard will destroy. I didn't understand his last comment. Maybe if you want to go back and read it off in your Australian accent would be the perfect.
There's a particular word that you're catching up on that I've said today before. The Americans don't understand this word.
That's why I didn't want to touch it. I don't know if it was a spelling error or whatever. But I was like, I'm going to leave Matt to say it in his accent and all. I think that would be the only right thing to do. So. What did he say again? What was the?
I'll see if I can find the comment, but he said something about the injuries. Like we call a small injury, like we call it a niggle. Like if you've got a sore shoulder that's playing up, you say, I've got a niggle in my shoulder. It's nothing to do with race or anything like that. It's just the term that we've always had colloquially in Australia. But I know when people have read it in the US, or he said it to people from America before, and they're like, what did you just say? It's like, oh, I've got a niggle in my forearm. And it's like, what? You can't say that. It's like, no, it's an injury. So yeah, he was saying something about, I'm trying to find that comment that he had there. Oh, here it is. Yeah, sorry. Rickard doesn't get niggles, only gets stronger, and is home in South Africa, growing on mum's meals and lifting rhinos. Rickard is a once-in-a-generation athlete. He's also extremely humble. Watch out. So there you go.
Yeah, see, the only thing, bro, is, you know, after watching that event, man, like, I got to be honest, man, there wasn't anybody, you know, I know Brett is the top dude, but it's just two different sizes completely. You know, Brett's somebody, you know, I expect to be going against Lachlan and in that weight class. You know, when you put him up against Rickard, I just feel like it's too much, man. Like, Rickard's just too big of a dude with a big frame, you know, so I didn't really see it, and it just looked like an easy day for him, and it shows a lot that, you know, regardless of how big he is, 1 year and a half, you should not be able to go through your whole country that easy, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And I just keep saying that to myself, but, you know, I've also there's nobody we've seen him that, you know, that has really tested him in my eyes. We've seen Mario Tambakis. We know Mario's on a great level and all, but that's still a different weight category. You know what I mean? It's two different sizes of men. So this is a really, really good test. And I get it, because, you know, you hear everybody talking and they're all like, yo, Rickard's going to kill him. It's not even close. And it's got to be eating at Don. I mean, you're in 3 decades. You have, you know, all the crazy wins this man has. I mean, at one time, he was probably this good couple of years where he was probably number 1 on the planet. You know, the dude was, beating guys like Devon and Travis, was like, back and forth all the time. And, it's got to mess with them, man. It definitely does. And that's why I have so much respect for Don. I love Don, but, I got to be the guy that's going to poke him a little, man. I feel like he needs somebody in his fucking ear just revving him up, because I want to see the old Don as far as talking shit. I want to see all that, man, because that's what we need, bro. We need another guy that's got the, he could back it up on the table, but he also makes it so fun to watch, man. And, hearing Rickard on last time, it was the first time, everybody kept saying, oh, he's so humble and respectful, but I seen it in him a little, bro. It's starting to get, I think the confidence is getting there, and he's starting to open up a little more and start really saying what he's thinking. And, I don't think Lachlan took too kindly of it. I think, Lachlan's feeling a certain kind of way, and they're training partners and all, but like I said, I'd love to see them in training going at it now, because I'm sure Lachlan's trying to give it to this dude now. You know what I mean? It definitely. So I hope this comes into a great war. I hope that Don keeps the elbow down, because that's the only thing that's kind of a little nerve-wracking for me, because I know Don starts flying that elbow all over the place, and I know how Rickard's got that really long arm that could present a problem, you know what I mean, for him to keep his elbow down. But, if you had to bet the house on it, bro, what would you, who would you be betting on January 25th?
I'd be putting my money on Rickard. I think that he's got what it takes. I think his strength level is just insanely high. And again, we both love Don and everything that he's been doing in the sport. I hope that he continues his comeback and that he's able to reach those upper levels again. I just think that Rickard is a potential future world champion. I think he's just got the ability, the natural ability to hang with the best guys around, and just pulling with him. It just feels like next level. Like, I've pulled against some of the strongest guys around, but it's just like, when somebody just feels like a cement wall and you just can't move at all, you can't do anything, you can't even move your wrist, your hand at all, you get no cup, you get no push, and it's just like, how's anyone supposed to beat that? It's insane. So yeah, with his new found ability of the press, I know he originally started with top rolling, but then he got confidence in his elbow and he started pressing instead. And we've seen him press through massive mass monsters like Matawaringi Hedamorris, 165 kilos, which is like 350 pounds or something. And, keeps comfortably going through guys of that size in the super heavyweight division. So I can't wait to see how high his potential can carry him. And he's a hard worker. He puts in the time and the effort, obviously coming from the professional rugby background and having that discipline ingrained in him, having done that for years and years, to push to those levels, to understand rest and recovery and how to train correctly and listen to people that are more experienced and get your techniques right. I think he's got the perfect people around him. He couldn't have picked a better place to go into in terms of in Australia. You've got Ryan Bowen, you've got Marcus Atiro, you've got Lachlan Adair, you've got a whole bunch of guys that are in that club that are absolute at the pinnacle of international experience in Australia. And that's where you've walked into. So you couldn't have picked a better place to go to increase your skill set and ability. So to see him line up against Don Hollywood Underwood is going to be something special. I think, as I said before, not only is it the right opponent, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be sold like Don is the king of the trash talk and making things interesting, fun, and exciting. And I think that side of it is really going to build a lot of interest in the match.
So Dave Stockbridge says, is Mario versus Rickard a match people want to see again? Got to be honest, Dave. I don't think so, man. I think, Rickard's too big, dude. I want to see guys his size. I want to start seeing bigger dudes. I know you guys had some mass monsters in there, but it was just two different worlds in technique and pulling. Like those guys were not it. You know what I mean? I think we need to start bringing in different guys for him, and I think that's going to tell us a lot after Don Underwood. And if he comes and he gets a win on that, a Mario match doesn't make sense anymore. I think we need to start seeing, the elites now, come in. And there's a couple of great comments here. Drew said Rickard versus Jordan would be great too. Same size and frame. That's what I'm talking about, Dave, right there. This is something that's more interesting to me. You know, there's no size difference and all. But, you know, we could also find out January 25th if Don gets the win that day, you know, maybe Rickard isn't at that elite level right there. That's why this is such a great match. I've always said Don Underwood is one of those guys that's the gatekeeper to the elites. You pass through Don, we know you belong there. If you don't, you know, you might need another year or 2 years to, you know, of experience and all. This will test him. This will test him where he's not just going to be able to go in and overpower people. He's going to have to actually use technique and see, you know, like when the shit hits the fan and, you know, things didn't go the right way it was supposed to go, that it's been going for the last year and a half for him. What adjustments does he make? Does he know how to make those adjustments? Because, you know, us, you know, arm wrestlers, you know, when you're first in there, you know, you could say all this shit during practice, but when you're actually on that big stage, the lights going, the crowd screaming, a lot of people, you know, they lock up. They don't know. They can't think, you know, they get stuck in their one route and they can't get out of that. So, you know, this is going to be a great test to see how he deals with all that. So definitely excited to see, you know, him going against Don. I think just being on, you know, making the travel as well, that's going to play a big factor in things. And, you know, just the crowd, you know, we're expecting a big crowd of this one. They're going to have the tournament going on as well, you know, so some of the other ones, you know, there was maybe like 150, 200 people. I'm expecting there's going to be like 500 people in the crowd. It's going to be a sold out event, people going nuts. And this is one of those matches people are going to be very, very excited about. So definitely looking forward to this. We also have a good comment right here. And he says, last time Lockley pulled Brett, if he has any trouble versus Brett now, then how would he beat Rickard? What's your knowledge on Brett Coots versus Lachlan?
On left, it would be close. Brett is a very good left-handed puller and maybe one of the best in the country and has been for a very long time. I don't really know with his right against Lachlan. I would say that Lachlan would be the favorite there based on his international experience and that sort of thing. And I'm not sure exactly the last time that they've actually faced off on right hand, but it would be a few years. And I think Lachlan has increased his skill set significantly since then.
Okay, and what's your whole thoughts on if Underwood had to go against Matarangi today, who would get the win on that? Right.
Well, I think that Matarangi's dealing with a couple of injuries or a shoulder issue at the moment, but it sort of has affected his ability to get close to like his hand close to his shoulder, which is why you see so much of this position. He drops into that a lot, and then he'll use his frame to get back to the middle and then use his weight to sort of carry him over. That seems to have been the style that he's developed over the last 8 months because of this injury, which I believe is in his shoulder. So it may be a big factor in that, in his ability to, because if Don hits hard and he hits fast, which is what he does, you know, Matarangi's moving out to the side to catch it, he might get pinned before he can sort of get that stop. I think that's how that match would play out, that Don would probably be the favorite there.
Okay, and Richard says, I think it's 70-30 for Rickard for the win, but we really don't know where he sits on the international stage. And even if he beats Don, it's not going to show much unless Don is really that strong. The only thing that kind of got me a little nervous in hearing was that he came in 8th. It did make me rest a little better, you know, hearing that he pulled the week before and, you know, he's been really, you know, beating on his body and all. But I just kept saying in my head, do I think Rickard would come in 8th place in an event at World Series of Arm Wrestling? And, you know, in my eyes, you know, from hearing what, you know, I've heard and, you know, the hype train goes on, you know, I would think that, you know, he'd be in the top 3. You know, and that's just my guess, but, you know, there's really nobody that could give us that answer as of right now. So this is a good starting point. And what was your thoughts when you heard that Don came in 8th at the World Series of Arm Wrestling? Were you thinking kind of the same thing that I was?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the competition there. There's always a lot of factors that go into tournament pulling, and depends on, whether you're well rested, whether you're actually ready and in the mindset for a tournament. I mean, I'm sure he was probably doing promotional work and commentary and running around talking to people and doing the production side of things on top of trying to compete, which could be a significant factor in your performance there. But as far as the other guys that were in the class, I'm not exactly sure who he had matches with. But with the tournament, you can get into a war early on in those early rounds, and that just saps your entire strength. And maybe that's it for the day. Your next round, you've got nothing left. You get beaten by somebody that you would manhandle in a super match. But it does have some bearing, I guess you could say. Okay, well, you got 8 in that tournament, but there are other factors that are contributing to that result. Whether he was peaked for that tournament and had rest and focused only on that, it may have been a completely different result for him. So it's a little hard to take stock on and say, okay, this is the form that he's in, when you've got to look at all of the contributing factors to his result.
What do you think between Corey West and a Rickard? This is like a fantasy match. Like, what's your thoughts on that? How does that end up?
Yeah, I think that Corey is in top form at the moment. He's obviously incredibly strong, incredibly massive guy. I think the only way that Rickard would really have a significant chance at this point, given his experience level, would be if he played a game that made Corey get tired. Because I've seen Corey get exhausted after one round of a super match that just got drawn out with a lot of messing around in the setup, a lot of like goofing around, a lot of slips, a lot of fouls. And by the time they actually got the first round started, he was pouring out with sweat. He was already exhausted, breathing heavy, and it was the first round. So if I was coaching Rickard in a match against Corey, I'd be like, drag everything out, make everything last for as long as possible. If you get a position on him, hold that position, make him work, make him tired, because that's your best path to victory. I think that Corey overall would be stronger. I mean, he's number one in the US, I believe, at this point in time. He took out that World Series of Armwrestling tournament, $15,000 richer as well. So he has the ability to crush a lot of people. But if I was coaching Rickard going into that match, my advice would absolutely be draw this match out for as long as possible. Mess around in the setup, make him tired, because that's going to be your best bet to win.
Who did Corey just lose there at the King of Table? Was that Kamil Jablonski? Was that he went against?
I believe so, yeah. But,
see, that's what makes me believe that Rickard would have a lane with him, because, he's got that press like Kamil, and he could get quick into that. So, that would be a real interesting match to see, definitely 100%. And the other thing is, here we go. Drew says to Dave, have a quick one-off club match with Rickard versus Mario, and I bet he has no issues with Mario now, is what I'm guessing. And I kind of second that. I believe the same thing on that. I think that, Rickard, things have just come together too quick. I think he started realizing he's got a new lane and all, and I think that he would make easy work of Mario. And I'm not taking anything from Mario. I love Mario. He's one of my favorite pullers. Definitely was screaming. I lost my voice, at the last couples up screaming for Mario, and he made sure I came over, and I knew that, and he appreciated that for sure. But what's your thoughts today, man, if that went down between Mario and Rickard?
I think that. Oh yeah, I mean, I'd love to see it just for fun, like, put these guys on the table and see what happens. But yeah, I think Rickard would be the heavy favorite there, especially with Mario having dropped down in weight. He's under 100 kilos at this point in time, or that's what he could cut down to, which is the 220 mark. Whereas Rickard is sitting at 130 kilos, which is that 30, so like 275, something like that. Yeah, so there's a significant weight difference. I think that Rickard's technique and skill and ability and timing have improved greatly since they first matched. So yeah, I think that that Rickard would probably handle Mario fairly comfortably. But I'd love to see it just for fun. Like, why not? Guys, if you're at a training session, just get on with each other, see what happens.
Yeah, please, man. I'd love to see that. And Richard says, I think East versus West will be contacting Borman soon, especially after he beats Don. His name is only getting bigger every day. What's your thoughts on that? Do you guys have anything worked out with Rickard, or, what happens if Rickard is offered a contract, with East versus West. How do you think that would go?
Yeah, well, after the first Grand Prix event and that training after full footage with Lachlan from Grand Prix 1, we had offers from everybody. And we mean that, like, every single organization that was out there was contacting us to see if we could get Rickard on their cards, including the core sports side of things. So it's definitely already been spoken to and spoken about. But one of the things we're trying to make sure that we do is build Rickard up to where he's ready for those elite opponents. And so, he's had the second defense of his AWE heavyweight belt here in Australia. He's going to take on a legend in Don Hollywood Underwood on January 25th. And depending on what happens in that match is depending on which direction we will be looking to move him forwards in the next thing, because it's always fun to talk about fantasy matchups and hypotheticals. And I've seen people go, "Oh, Levan versus Rickard, make it happen." It was like, hang on a sec.
Let's not throw him into the lion's den like that quick, man. Let's give a build up, man, because we want to see him grow. And we don't want to, just outmatch. That's why I think the path you guys are going right now with him, I think it's really, really good. It's at the right pace, and I think everybody's going to be happy with that. And Captain Obvious says Rickard versus Jordan, that's a different level. See what he did with massive in shape Marcio. Yeah, I agree, man. Jordan Sonoff is definitely one of those guys a lot of people sleep on just because, with all the bans and all that, he hasn't been able really to get himself out there. But I definitely put Jordan as one of the top pullers in his weight category in the world, and I think that would be a little much for Rickard as of right now, but I am totally guessing with that. That's just my opinion. Nobody really knows what Rickard's level is at, but I would like to see maybe like another year of just experience and getting to pull these top stage events, and because all these little factors, they all add up, man. So we want them to have a nice gradual, keep progressing, but let's not let's save some of these good matches for down the line and let him build up and get his experience. And I think the way they're going at things is great. And I just hope that with all the work that you're putting in with Rickard and some of the other athletes, I hope like it doesn't happen where East versus West kind of swoops in and kind of steals it. And if he gets the opportunity at East versus West, that's great and all, but as long as they don't lock it in and make a contract and tell him that he can't pull in other organizations, that's where I would have a problem. That's where it's like that's not right. And and now that we're hearing World Series of Arm Wrestling putting out so much money out there, there was no other opportunities before, so it didn't make sense. So if somebody did get the phone call and they got offered a contract but not much money on it, it was like, well, where else am I going to pull? You know what I mean? So it's like I kind of got that then, but now there's a lot of opportunities out there. There's a lot of big stages, and I'm not saying we should only choose one of them, but you should keep your options open and be able to pull everywhere, man. And and there's going to be so much great opportunities. 100,000 just went out at this past weekend. Next year they're saying 250K they're going to be up, and I'm assuming it's just going to keep growing and growing. AWE, they're going to have so many other opportunities. It seems like you guys are going to be bringing in international guys. You're going to be getting into different markets, and also that's got a lot of benefits too. So I'm hoping that if anybody does a contract, it's for one event and that's it. Don't lock yourself away. You know what I mean? And that was always the beef of back in the day with WAL, with the 7-year contracts. Everybody had beef with it and all. And I get it, man. Let's keep them. Let's keep it where everybody's just able to pull everywhere, and we get to see all these amazing matches that we're talking about right now for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we've got the AWE talent management business as well, which is we manage athletes and get them the opportunities to negotiate on their behalf. So having the experience of working with the other promotions around the world, we can find the best deals, find the best opportunities, and definitely stop people from signing themselves into restrictive contracts.
Hell yeah. And I forgot about that. Mario actually has a match up at the next Knuckles Up. Who is Mario pulling? Oh my God. I can't believe I didn't remember this one. Ron Beth, the legend, Ron Beth has a match against Mario. Ooh, that's what we should be talking about right here. That's a good one, man. So right arm. Yeah, bro. I don't know how that one goes. That is a coin flip to me. You know, you can't really go against Mario. I mean, the way he's been pulling lately, and he just keeps getting better and better. I remember, he went up against Jason Merlo, made this insane cut, did like 20 pounds overnight, and I was just like, yo, there's no way you could travel 16 hours on a flight, cut down to 220 when you're usually like a 235, 240-pound dude, and beat a guy like Jason Merlo with these big ass mitts. He's got long arm, long levers, really knows how to do it. And then he did it. And I was just like, oh, wow. All right. No, that's crazy. Then he goes against Plowman, which, everybody was like, oh, Plowman's on a whole nother level, man. There's no way Mario's got this. And holy shit, bro. That dude he went into a war, bro. And he did his thing, man. And like I said, I lost my voice that day screaming for him. And I was so goddamn impressed with him. So, he just keeps getting better and better. And then he just went against big, I think it was Yoshi.
Yep.
And in Japan, he went to his home territory and all, and same thing. And he made that one look easy, bro, which, that's two different sizes right there. Yoshi looks like, he could be a 300-pound dude. Yeah, this is the match from Knuckles Up 4. You see my logo right behind him. There you go. He's got
nice.
good luck on his side. That's it right there. But, bro,
I think I could hear you yelling throughout this broadcast. Like you can hear.
I went ape shit that one, man. I was so happy for Mario, bro. And I'm like, and the other guy that I went nuts for that day was Robbie Russell, man. And it was that first round when he got that win. All you hear is me yelling, "You did it, bro! Your dream's coming true! Your dream's coming true!" And then, Robbie knew to keep quiet, man, because he's like, yo, this dude's gonna make some adjustments. And of course, Tom being the legend he is, he did make some adjustments. But yeah, this was nuts, bro. The sticking point that Mario has, that lock, Plowman kept getting him right there, an inch away from the friggin'. And this is the thing that Don's got to watch. Don, if you're watching right now, these ladies don't mess around. They are really top officials, and they will call your elbow fouls. There is no so. You got to keep, just keep saying to yourself every single day, keep that elbow down. But look how dialed in Mario is, man. He's so focused, and he doesn't look like he's nervous at all. And I mean, going against a guy like Plowman, dude, you think he would be a little rattled there. But I mean, this dude is just, look at him, bro.
Yeah, he's like ice. Well, him and this is something that I found out, that him and his training partner Lachlan Carpenter, they train setup positions for 30-40 minutes like at a time, just in a certain spot. They'll hold that position in the setup and just get into that spot, and then just hold it, and then work into a different position, a different setup, and they just work on setups like for their training sessions, which obviously is some massive area that a lot of people ignore, and they just put a couple of minutes on, oh yeah, I'll just sort of do this or whatever. But it's such a significant part of the game of arm wrestling that you can win or lose a match based on how you get your hand set up.
Oh, I mean, that's probably the most important thing there is, bro, is that setup. And, Travis was one of those dudes, man, that always said that ghost arm wrestling. He would just pound in my head nonstop, just go walk up to the table and keep doing the same thing over and over. And like I said at the beginning, I was like, bro, are you fucking nuts, dude? I'm going to train an hour a day of just walking up to a table. Well, when my head went blank in my first super match, bro, that's all I could remember was like him saying that. I'm like, damn, bro, I wish I would have did that ghost arm wrestling. That is so damn important. It really is. And you can see now that you just said that, now I see why Mario's so comfortable, man. He does it so much.
Yeah, absolutely. But this match was really interesting. I think this is probably the only match, the first match I've ever seen where somebody has done like 9 elbow fouls in a row.
Yes. Yep. He definitely won with that, and that's why I keep saying to Don the same thing with those elbow fouls, because these ladies, they don't have a problem. They will foul you out, where a lot of referees, they just want to see the match happen, so they'll let some of the hopping go. These ladies, you see it right here, and and I know the crowd was getting a little restless, and they didn't like it. They definitely. People were just like, let it go and all that. And you can see right there, his elbow's off. And see, they have no problem that they'll foul you out on that. And that's the only thing that could ruin such a great lead up to a match is if Don's elbows start flying around. And, that's always been the only thing that you could say about Don is, those elbows could be a problem. And if these ladies are reffing, which I'm assuming they are, Don, I'm going to just annoy you every day and just keep saying elbows down, bro. So, you're going to have nightmares of Italia saying this shit to you over and over. This would really be disappointing to see it end on that. And we'd lose all the info that everybody's looking to gain from this match. And also,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you should get it on a t-shirt. But there you go. So Mario gets a stop. He's in such good command controlling position. Plumman right at the back of the pad. He can't hit without popping off the end of the pad, and he's so confused as to why it keeps happening. But Mario's set up so far on the edge of the front of his pad, his elbow was dug into the corner of the front of the pad, and that was obviously his game plan, was to make Plumman sit right at the back of the pad, knowing that he couldn't turn his arm over without slipping off the back of the pad. So it's very, very tactical and clever and intelligent arm wrestler, Mario Tenbarkis.
Yeah, and you could see what he was doing. If Plowman would have went elbow forward at all, it was like Mario was waiting for him to make that move, and he would just, I think, hit sideways. That seems to be like Mario's answer right there. So
yeah.
he was down with that guy hanging on and having no real estate. And then if he, God forbid, he wanted to try making that little adjustment, Mario was like, boom, waiting for that shit. So, Mario's a very skilled arm wrestler in that, and that was a very smart way for him to win, for sure.
Did you get on the table with him at all?
No, I haven't, bro. I've never felt Mario on the table ever. I definitely want to feel it. He does remind me of Lachlan in so many different ways, as far as just the way they talk and things they say. And, he's a very fun guy. And the thing that I really liked about Mario was, we had this huge after party, and it was in Washington. So, literally the whole tournament came back to this house that we rented, and it was this big, beautiful mansion and all. And Mario is the bartender, and he keeps the party going. I'm telling you, every time I would turn around and I'd have like a little left, this dude had the next concoction waiting for me, and he'd be handing them in. And he's like, he makes sure everybody's having a great time. He keeps the energy up and all. And I will never forget that. That dude was just so fun to be around and has you laughing the whole time. And he just reminded me so much of Lachlan, and me and Lachlan, we hit it off from day one. When we just met, it was just like, oh shit, bro, if I was from Australia, this would be my crew right here. Like, I definitely fit in with them. So I definitely like them for sure. Yeah. And we got a comment from Digging In. He says, could Knuckles Up get some of their matches on State Kings or Armbet? That is a good question. And what about AWE, man? Have you guys ever thought of doing something like that, getting on for the betting and all?
Yeah, I didn't realize they were still going. I haven't really looked into that side of things since they first sort of brought it out. I think there was a bet that I reckon I was looking at doing with Ryan versus Lachlan like a few years back, but since then I'd sort of forgotten that they even had the betting on their sites. And I think the reason mainly was because it was a little confusing with the way that they've got it set up, is that you can't just bet on somebody. Like, you have to buy like a stake, and that has to be sold out for that person. It has to reach a certain amount before the bet will go live, and you can only bet on one thing, like whether somebody's going to win by shutout or not. And it was like, yeah, it was a little bit like, I don't want to do that. I just want to bet on this guy to win, which you couldn't do. So yeah, I think I lost interest in that.
Yeah, I was on the same thing, man. Like when they said that, I was like, oh shit. But I also remember like the betting, like the way it was with the payouts, I was not happy with it, man. Like, you bet this money and you think you're at least going to get your money back, or, and it wasn't like the odds were just, it was like no odds or something. It was like even betting, or it just was a turnoff for me. But I think it was a lot of legality issues and the way they did it, that you had to do it that way. But I think that's something that we need to look into. And then I'm not saying, State Kings or Armbet is the way to do it, but, anybody could probably, make their own, app or figure it out, Matt. And I think that'd be something that you guys should look into, maybe talk with Knuckles Up and, come up with your guys' own system. But I really think betting on it would be huge for our sport. I think it would be, you got to get through the legality. I'm sure there's a lot of hurdles and all that, but it just makes you so much more vested in the matches than, having, you don't even have to have much, but, I tried doing it all the Knuckles Up. I tried throwing 100, 200 on each match, and a lot of the times I don't even know who the athletes are, but just to make it more interesting and more fun, I would do that. And after, you bet on somebody and they win, you'll never forget that dude, my man Yoshi, I didn't know who he was that day, but, my boy sitting next to me was like, yo, you got the South Korean guy or you got the Japanese? And I'm like, fuck it, let's go with the Japanese guy. And then, after that day, I never forgot about him. And it's like, I became a big fan of him that day and helped out. He made me some money and all. But, that's something that we might want to look into, man. And, anybody that's into, betting too, hit me up. And, anytime we got any of these Knuckles Up or AWE events, I'm down to play some money on some of these matches. And, so I'm definitely down to play. So let me know.
Yeah.
I know I lost a lot of money this recent, again, in the World Series. I had a bunch of little side bets going on top of the 10K that I put on before the season started and all. And, I had to pay off everybody and all. But, I love it, though. It makes everything so much more fun. So I'm definitely down with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we did look into it. I have looked into the laws. It's very, very strict in Australia. Gambling is treated very, very aggressively. That if you're going to do anything with betting, it has to run through so many layers of government to be able to get there. It's almost impossible. It's almost like the government will be the only people that will allow you to bet, and they have stakes in the casinos and all that sort of thing. But I know a lot of people that have gotten into that world of running their own gambling stuff. They've moved into into different countries and stuff to be able to do it there, because it's just so restrictive and so difficult with the red tape to be able to do it legally. Plus you've got with arm wrestling, they can say like, well, hey, this isn't a legitimate sport, or there's an ability for people to throw matches, and they might have examples of people that have had matches where they just not trying or whatever, and they go, well, there you go, there's people that are not trying in these matches. That how could you say this is a legitimate thing to bet on? So there's a lot of difficulties in setting up legal gambling, especially in Australia. But I'd love to see it. I'd love to see if people could get something happening where you can bet. I know that there's Discord servers and stuff like that where people will have points or something, and you can somehow put the points into real money, and it's like a loophole or something like that. But at this point in time, it's very tricky.
Yeah, I agree, man. But I'm down to start a book, out here. We'll get some action going on the sides and all. So, just come up to me in person. We'll work it out. Don't worry about it. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Richard says, Devon sure made an ass of himself. I like trash talk, but he was way out of line. If it was anyone else, they would be banned for sure. So, guys, I need you guys to update me on this. I haven't watched East versus West. I've seen a lot of posts online, and I've seen a lot of people were really, really mad at Devon, and I've seen a lot of people defending him. So I don't really know what went down that day, but I am definitely interested. So if you guys could definitely catch us up on that. And, I think he got the win, right? He beat Oleg, I'm assuming. Was it a close match? And then I seen something with Artem Morzov and him going at it, and I seen Engen, and looked like Engen was gonna fight him or something. Like, do we know anything, Matt? Did you get to check anything out on it?
I haven't. I've seen probably as much as what you've seen on it. I don't know why. I just had no interest in the card, and I think it was mainly because I was spending all my time just trying to get the AWE edit finished, and we're in the post-production stages of trying to release as much content as possible, and there was a lot of pressure to try to get this stuff out there as soon as possible. And then it was like, oh, by the way, there's an East versus West card, and I was like, oh, is there who's on it? And it was like, oh, it's Devon and Oleg. I'm like, yeah, Devon will win that. I'm not interested. Like, it was just it just feels like he was going for the number one position in the world at super heavyweight. And it's like any match he's taking beneath that, it's like, well, he's obviously going to win that. And that's what happened. So yeah, I think it's hard to build up hype again for these matches where it's like it's pretty much a squash match against everyone he faces against except Levan.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Roy is asking, so who won the AWE tournament? So our man, the young phenom, Rickard Borman, he came and destroyed like he expected. And, you know, he's got his 2 belts now. He is the top guy over there. Well, you know, it's still up in the air between him and Lachlan. I don't know if that'll ever be figured out, but, you know, Rickard is definitely, he did what he was supposed to do. He made it look very, very easy. And, you know, we're all excited about his next match, January 25th. We're hoping that'll give us some info on everything and, you know, see where that goes. And then also, guys, if you can, post up who else were the winners there. I know that Gennady went against Michael Todd, and I believe Michael Todd got the win that day. So let me know what you guys think was the best match, you know, on the card, and which ones did you like, which ones didn't you like. And if there's anybody in here that wants to pop on real quick that watched East versus West, we'd love to hear from you. So if you want to come pop on and tell us, we could actually put the link up. Hey Matt, do you think you could actually share the link in the chat right now?
Yeah,
And,
sure.
yeah, man. I'd love to have somebody pop on, because this was one of the things I wanted to bring up. I wanted to find out what went down and what was everybody's thoughts of East versus West. It was the first one I actually didn't see, so I definitely want to hear about it.
All right, hang on. There we go. Link is in the chat. Should be coming up. There we go.
Yeah, so please, somebody come join in here. We definitely want to hear. Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, what happened with Toddzilla? Did he
Is this the right card? That's what I'm figuring out right now. Oh, they don't have results there.
Okay.
Oleg. I think they have an update. I'll show the results, okay?
Okay, so digging it says, yeah, when he was pulling afterwards towards the gauntlet, it was like he was on some type of drug or something.
Oh.
So I guess Devon was on drugs that day, huh? Shrooms or ketamine or something like that.
Well, this is the annoying thing about having this stuff behind a paywall, is that I'm reading the results of a match off of a different website, and it's just, you know, here's the result of the match. Somebody won 3-2 or somebody else, and it's like, yeah, I'd like to have seen it, but I'm not going to pay $35 for it.
Yeah. Oh, Captain Obvious says here, there's no standard rule set used across arm wrestling a lot of times, so gambling must be tricky to set up. Yeah, Captain Obvious, I do remember that at the beginning when, you know, we had the State Kings, and what they were coming across problems with was a lot of the referees that organizations were using weren't, you know, like, you know, official licensed or whatever. And there was a lot of people having problem. Like they were getting mad that, you know, it wasn't ref the right, or some of the calls were a problem. So I think was definitely one of the problems they definitely were coming across. And Roy says, Paul, it's very simple. Devon is a vicious bully on the table, and he started going off on anyone in front of him. He is just vicious, evil bully. That's it. Is it that, or is this a character he's playing? Is he trying to be the heel of the sport and maybe taking it a little too far? Do you guys think this is? Because I do see a lot of people defending, you know, and if you, God forbid, you say that you didn't like it, you know, you'd have 20 people under there attacking them and all. So I kind of stopped like even giving my opinions on the whole thing. And, you know, for me to not get in an arm wrestling event, you know, that it says a lot, man. I'm just, you know, certain things I definitely have not been okay with and just kind of getting tired of, you know, and I guess that I'm kind of talking about that. And, you know, kind of like what Matt's saying, I just certain these matches, I don't know who they're making them for. You know, I'm starting to think it's not for the arm wrestlers, because, you know, like I just don't get the whole Devon versus the Oleg, and, you know, just like Matt said, you know, it just doesn't add up in my head, and I can't get excited about that, you know. But I guess that's why he's adding on whatever, you know, all the drama that he's doing, and which I didn't hear much about the actual match between him and Oleg. What I keep seeing is him and Artem Morozov, and I'm like, wait, were they polling? Were they supposed to get a match, or was this lead up to another match? Or you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm curious. So please, guys, come in. Somebody, Richard, if you're on here, jump in right now. You know, either Richard, Roy, you know, whoever watched East versus West, come on, jump on here, man. We really would love to hear what's going on and kind of catch me up on things. It was an amazing card. Watch it. AMF, you will see what I'm talking about. Devon's match was the worst one on the card. Okay.
It's unfortunate that most people will only remember the headliner when it comes to a super match card, and if the headliner was not a good one, then the rest of the card gets forgotten.
Yeah. Israel, our man, Arm Wrestling Buzz crew. What's up, guys? You all are the best. Paul and Matt, I hope you guys are well. Crazy matches last East versus West, and Rickard Borman is the real deal. Thank you, Israel. If if you can pop on real quick, I know you've been real busy with things and a lot on your plate, but if you can just kind of pop on for a couple minutes and just catch us up on everything, really would appreciate. Or if anybody else out there could come on and join on, we really want to hear a little quick breakdown of everything. And Richard says either Michael Todd's match or Todd's match were the best ones, I believe. And did Toddzilla get the win that day? I'm assuming.
Looks like it was 3-2 from. Oh, so Michael Todd won 3-2, and what we got? Let me find the other one. Toddzilla won 3-2 as well.
Wow, I gotta say, man, that's kind of surprising to me. I didn't think that he would have anything for Gennady. I was, you know, I guess Michael Todd really is back. You know what I mean? For him to get a win on Gennady, who, you know, beat Devon and, you know, gave Jerry the match of his life. That's definitely interesting. You know, he's definitely doing his thing.
Well, it looks like it was first round to Michael, second round to Gennady, third round to Michael, fourth round to Gennady, fifth round to Michael. So it was back and forth a lot. I wonder if the buckle had much to do with that, but apparently it was back and forth. So and then, very interesting.
Aaron says the Reno versus Ibrahim match was the best to me, but the Toddzilla versus Yoshi was right there in intensity and excitement. So that's the other guy. So Toshi is the one that we talk about. That's with Knuckles Up. Yoshi is from Japan as well, and he's that OG puller. And you know, I think they had a history, him and Toddzilla back in the day. And you know, this is like the rematch or something. And I'm assuming Toddzilla, you know, stepped up and got the win, which that's always impressive.
Yeah, so Todd Hutchings won 3-2 over Yoshinobu, and it was first round Yoshi, second round Todd, third round Yoshi, and then fourth and fifth went to Todd.
Wow. Okay. Israel says Yoshi versus Toddzilla was a banger. Did not expect Yoshi to be able to show up in that form. Wow. Very good. And Roy says Toddzilla Yoshi was insane. Yoshi is at that level. He can pull with the best. Wow, it turns out it would seem to be a good event. How long did it go on, guys? How long was it? Was it one of the real long marathons? Was it a quick one? Richard says Todd had an all-out war that was not expected and went to 5 rounds. Hell yeah.
So it was a 6-hour match, I think.
Wow. Richard says, highly doubt Devon was on drugs or drinking or something, and he was just all hyped up because of the situation. He already made a video explaining himself. Okay. I'm really interested to hear what actually went down with everything, though. You guys got to watch the card. It was great, but Devon was an idiot from start to finish. Sounds like he's going to get fined. He took it way too far. Watch it. You will see. Yeah, I don't know what's been up with that, man. I don't know if it's something he sees and what he's trying to do, but I mean, the last few matches, you know, first off, I'm going to say this. The matches just haven't made sense since the ones with Chance Shaw. And I just keep saying, I'm like, how does this make sense or whatever? So my guess is that he's trying to make it interesting in his eyes by adding all the theatrics. You know, that's the only thing that could make sense to me. And, you know, I feel like half of the people like it. And, you know, it's more like that wrestling style and all that. And then a lot of people are really, really getting offended by it and, you know, kind of like turning on them and, you know, kind of getting angry, you know. So, you know, I guess it's whatever side you're on. But I don't know, digging, it says it's almost like he puts himself in a military mindset situation at the table, like do or die situation. And when he went for the gauntlet, he psychologically kind of lost it.
Yeah, it does feel like he's very much being a bully on the table, and I think part of that has come from the fact that he was in the super heavyweight division. He was pulling against the biggest mass monsters around the world, and then had his go against Levan, who is an absolute giant and the number one by a significant margin, and that's what most people would be thinking of when they think of Devon. And then it's like, okay, he's dropping down in weight, but he didn't just drop down a little bit, like he's dropped down significantly and taking on the guys in the lighter weight classes. And it's like, you're going to have a massive advantage having that experience against, I mean, if you're going for the number one spot in the world and then you're dropping down in a weight class, it's like, you're obviously going to be the favorite in this matchup. And so when you're talking trash to the people
can you hear me?
Pulling against, yeah, mate, we can hear you.
What's up, Richard?
How are you?
Sorry to cut you off, Matt. How you doing, brother? Glad to have you on here,
buddy.
my man. Always see you in the chat. Really appreciate all the support, bro.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. So fill us in, man, because we're totally in the dark here and, trying to figure out like what went down. Because I know that the big match of the night was Oleg versus Devon, but I don't see anything about that. And then when I'm looking, I'm like, Devon against Artem. So now I'm like, wait, was the match changed or whatever? So kind of fill us in. How did it all go down?
Devon just destroyed him, for one. At the very first round, he couldn't even move him off center. And with that, Devon started being Devon and being a clown. And then I think it was the third round, Devon got down on his knees underneath the table and put his arm up. And Ingen and the other Ingen's partner got really upset because Devon was showboating. And they made him stand back up. And Devon kept saying that it wasn't illegal for him to start a match on his knees. But they got really upset with him because he was going to do it because he was winning so easily.
Wow.
Yeah, he destroyed him. It was bad, really bad.
So Devon is making a point, man, because he knows how Engen is against the King's move, and it seems like that's what he was trying to do, was push the buttons.
He didn't even have to do a King's move. He couldn't even move him off center.
Wow.
Devon should never pull in the 105 again.
I was just about to say that. So
and then he even on camera went over to Ingen and laid down on the floor and started going like this on the floor, like this is all you got for your 105 champion, and started going off to Ingen about there's nobody in the world you could set me up, is there? And Ingen kept telling him, pushing him off, go back to the stage and do your thing,
Oh my God. So are they really beefing them too?
Well, and then so then when him and Artem Morzov got on the table, it was okay at first. They were going back and forth,
Wait, hold on though. How did they get that? That match was set before, or this was?
Yeah, at the conference, at the press conference, they were all going back and forth, and Artem and Devon were talking about having a match on the left arm, and Ingen agreed to it. But then when it came to the next day or whatever, when the tournament was happening, they weren't really going to have a match. It was just back and forth. But then I guess at the end of it, they did get on the table just to mess around. Okay. And they had each other's hand, and they would take each other back and forth, like Devon screwing around. And then it started to get serious. They started arguing, and really you could see it in both of their faces. They were both getting upset. So then Ingen got up in the middle of two of them and tried to be not a referee, but to slow them both down, I think. Okay. And he put a strap on them, and then it got really bad. They were really fighting them, and Artem couldn't move Devon's left hand from the center of the table.
Wow.
Devon had him in a king's, not really a king's move, but an open top roll, and he couldn't move his arm.
And he was only 105 kilograms.
Well, I doubt it. I'd say he was back up at least another 10, 15 kg from the day he weighed in, because he weighed in early Friday morning. Wow. They gave them way too much time. They should have weighed in later on in the day, because I bet you he must have put 20, 30 pounds back on by that match.
But so now, is this the end of do people still want to see Devon pulling these lighter weight class? What is the crowd saying now? Because
everybody was happy about it. Everybody was loving it. but there's nobody at that weight class for Devon. He's too big.
Yeah.
He's,
So I mean,
and
what's
even
the
Travis,
answer to this, man? Because me
115
personally, I mean, I want to see him back in the supers, man. Like I just, if
I
we're
don't
gonna
think
go,
he'll go up there.
no.
No, the 115s because he's getting old, and it's hard to keep the weight on him. He says all the time. So and it's not healthy to be 270 at 49 years old or 48 years old. So I think he says there's lots of people in the 115 class that he could mess with, but then Ingen was saying there's a few guys that are thinking about going up to the 115 class, so maybe that's a match for him. But even when him and Artem were pulling, towards the end of it, like when they were getting really ignorant with each other, don't know what Ingen said, but you could tell Ingen was telling them both off in his language. He was freaking, like just losing his shit. Yeah,
And that's what's getting Devon off, bro.
Yeah,
that's it right there.
But there was nothing real. And then when they separated them, got their hands off, Devon. So if you're looking at the screen, Devon went to the right and Artem went to the left. And then all of a sudden, Artem committed. Devon was talking to Jody and Ingen and I think Michael Todd. And Artem came out of nowhere with his fist cocked, walking towards Devon, and Devon's like, hey, like, like you come over here sort of thing, it's going to be a different story. And then Michael Todd backed him up like that way in.
Well, we got a comment from the other Richard. He says, even Travis and Michael Todd, Coach Ray, all said he was out of line and an embarrassment to the sport. Engen's new business partner said he wants to fine him.
And then, then Michael said on his live feed yesterday that that's Devon being Devon, and he don't think he took it too far.
Wow. For Travis to say that that's saying some shit right there.
And Travis was all up for it. Like he was, but he did a live feed with
Artem.
What's his name? Oh my God.
Artem,
yeah. They did a live feed the other day talking about it, and Travis couldn't believe the way he went on, but then he was also like, that's Devon maybe that's Devon's way of trying to bring more people to the sport, right? More eyes but he did go a little far, I think, a little bit. I
don't know. Is that what people want to see? Like the non-arm wrestlers? Is that like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like we're going
was good.
in a direction. But I don't know though.
Now everybody's hyped up for Artem and him to pull, like, cause now they got beef.
Yeah,
not good beef though. It's more of like a childish like drama, and that's the people that you would get to watch it. That are people that are not fans of the sport, that are just there to see.
If it goes farther than this, then it's bad. Then it's like WWF or WWE. Then, and that's not good because it's arm wrestling. But
what is everybody's thought in the chat? Hey Matt, are we able to make a poll on here right now?
I can give it a go.
Yeah, see if what they think, if we could everybody approve the way that Devon acts, at that last event, yes or no. Are you with Devon or are you against that?
Some of it.
Yeah, I'm real interested to see, because I don't know, man. Like I'm getting this like other vibe where like if you had other arm wrestlers, like non-arm wrestlers watching, it's not a good look, man. It's like
up until when Ingen got into the middle of them, from that point after, then I don't agree with all that. But up until the point of Ingen getting into it, that it's no different than any other match he was in.
Yeah.
But up until Ingen got in the middle, then it was then they were being really rude to each other. But Artem was no different. But he had to. If Devon was dishing it out, you're not going to stand there and take it.
And they're seeing that he's doing it to everybody. So, you want to be that guy that stands up to him and like, you're not going to do that shit with me, so.
Somebody gotta.
Yeah. Roy says, Paul, Devon in the backstage post-match interview said all roads lead to Levon. So there you go. That's how he's going to work. He's working on. Okay. So I guess he is going to go back at the supers one day and make the shot. And then what's your thought, Rich? Now that I got you on here, man, how do you think the Jerry versus Levon match goes in December?
That's a tough one. That's like 50-50, really. You can't. It could go either way. Yeah, Levon is crazy strong, and he's probably the favorite. No matter who you talk to, he's probably the favorite. But nobody can take Jerry's what is it, 30 years of knowledge. And if you had been following him the last few months, man, oh man, who can bench press, I don't know, 350 pounds for 52 times? Like you can't discredit that stuff neither.
Yeah, he beats all those NFL guys. Like I've seen it, bro. And he does it in flip flops. He'll just walk right into the garage, no warm up, and just start busting it out. And you're just like, wait, bro, how the fuck?
Insane.
And then what he'll even do after that is he'll go jump on his fucking pull up bar, and he just starts busting them out. He's got the wood planks. And you're just like, bro, you just did 52 friggin' at like 315 or whatever, and now he just jumps on there like he's a lightweight, and he's just swinging around the pull up bar. And, yeah, I mean, he's a freak of nature. He really is, man. And, that's going to be a crazy match. And I really can't wait to see that one. That one is one of the matches I'm definitely excited about coming up for sure.
Just watching his videos are crazy. So I can imagine what it's like being there with him watching, like just in awe. That's a lot of weight to move that many times. Like
for real.
And the people that have a lane with Levon is this guy's ace move since 30 years. He just got to get it, and he's really fast, so he might just get it in on Levon. And if you could hold him for any amount of time, it seems like Levon gasses pretty quick.
Yeah. Digging it says, yeah, like in 5 years from now, I really don't want to watch arm wrestlers act like Devon, thinking it's okay to do so. Roy says, nah, Devon is taking it too far. He's insulting people left and right over the hammer, bullying pullers, completely burying them like John Cena does in WWE. Corey says, I don't think it was too far, way more to it than Devon. It's in this scenario, in this instance, the buildup came from Engen, John Brezink, nitpicking, the Dennis beef that everyone else spoke except Dennis. See, that's where we're there's two different sides, and this is what I kept seeing online, and you don't know, because you see a lot of people saying he went too far, but then you see so many people defending it. So then I'm like, is it just typical Devon shit? You know what I mean? Is it?
Did you see the gift Dennis brought him?
Was that I saw that? There was like a little
rubber hammer.
Yeah, like a little.
And he even beat it on the microphone so you could hear it squeaking.
Wow! Oh my god! And I seen the new glove or something. They got the gold.
Yeah, that's badass.
So who does that go to? That's for the super.
That's Artem's right now.
Ah, okay.
And that's like I forget how many. It was like 25 grams or 20. It was just under an ounce of 24 karat gold put on the outside of it.
Oh wow! Very cool.
Yeah.
And Roy says Devon has the golden shovel, burying puller like they are nothing. I like that. Roy, according to Engen, Devon and Engen spoke the next day. Engen said Devon apologized, and he realized that he took it too far, and they spent a few days together practicing with Hermes. And I'll let you know, like, Engen has to make that known exactly how you just said that. Engen said Devon apologized. That it had to happen, because I know how Engen is, and everybody's got to make a public apology to the Don. You know what I mean? So I'm sure he made that clear. But at the same thing, this is like Devon's playground, and when you got that big of a following and an organization depends on you so much, you're welcome to his playground, bro. He's gonna do whatever, and he's gonna push it. Seems like there is no limits. He's gonna keep pushing and get more and more extreme when he can, and it's showing right there that Engen is still saying he apologized, but at the same time, if it was Engen's way, none of that shit would ever go down at the event. So, it shows Devon's got you, Engen. He owns you right now, bro.
And when Travis and Artem were talking on their 2 days ago, I think that's what Travis was saying was Engen's really East versus West is pretty big, but Devon is also really big. And if Devon wanted to go his own way, there's probably a lot, no matter how many haters there is, Travis was saying, no matter how many haters, if Devon left East versus West and started doing his own thing, it would be no comparison. It would grow just as much, just because of who Devon is. And I don't know as much. I'm only doing this 5 years. I got right into it. So taking words from people like Travis that know the guy forever, and then you just watch his following.
I agree. I mean, he is East versus West. You take Devon away, East versus West is not there. They're not going to be able to afford to keep doing what they're doing.
I don't know about that. I think they'll do good now, but from the very beginning, if Devon wasn't there, they wouldn't have got to where they are now, I don't think.
I don't think they make the money, bro. I don't
No?
think they're making enough money to cover expenses. And I think we've seen that at the Challenger Series. I think that's why Robert Baxter is now a partner with Engen. You know, he had to
Okay.
go and get the big money involved. And, you know, and I think that shows right there. And I just knowing Engen's ego and
Yep.
having Devon do what he's doing, and Devon is still there, and Engen kind of has to kiss his ass and deal with that shit, which, you know, if Engen didn't have to, believe me, bro,
You're probably right.
his ego is bigger than all this shit, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That shows that, you know, but of course he had to throw in, oh, Devon apologized. Yeah, but I didn't see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that neither. But I did see the video Devon made yesterday or day before yesterday. Every day is the same, but I work back shift, so every day gets mixed up.
yeah, wow. And Roy says it's like the Vince McMahon Stone Cold feud. That's a good analogy right there.
It is.
But yeah, man, it seems like it was a good East versus West. Richard, how long did it go on for? How long was the total event?
5.5 or 6 hours.
Okay, and how
But
many
it was
matches
like
around?
one after another too. There wasn't really much. The slowest time was when Neil was calling out the athletes, but that was even sort of fast.
Okay, so they're picking up the time and all, so that's definitely a
And then
good
they
thing.
had like 10-minute intermission or something, 5-minute intermission halfway through.
Corey says, in the long run, Devon is going to leave East versus West sooner or later. He will start pulling at King of Table more often instead. I believe the beef is there with Engen, but a paycheck is keeping him right now. Yeah, Corey, 100%. And now that he's just teamed up with Robert Baxter, so he's got the big deep pockets now. And, you know, they both need each other. You know, there's nobody that's paying that money out. And, you know, it's a paycheck for Devon. He's living off of this. He's making very, very good money. You know, he's at least making 30 to 50K a match. That was from the beginning. So he possibly could be making a lot more.
The very first match was with Michael was 50K on King of the Table.
Oh, yeah. So I mean,
God knows.
He's the only one. Him and Levon are the only ones that are making money like that. You know, I'm hearing other people that are getting contracts for a couple of years, and you know, like Matt said, you know, maybe 15 grand total over like a 3-4 year thing. So I mean, nobody else is getting those paydays, and that says something right there.
So it must be bringing in a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're Devon, bro, where else are you going to go and get that kind of money? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they got to play good together, and I don't see it just going to King of Table either. I think East versus West, I think Engen really depends on that just to get those views and to get everybody else, because, you know, by him having Devon on his card, and a lot of these matches we're all scratching our head like it doesn't make sense why you could put him up against Little Oleg when he was just going against Levon, giving him a match and all, but it's all to get the eyes on, so at least they're breaking even, at least they're making some money, and they're building the brands of these other athletes. So, you know, you got guys like Yoshi that were known back in the day, and, you know, now you're tuning in to watch Devon and his antics. Now you get to know who this new guy, Yoshi, or not new guy, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's getting them to brand these other guys as well, with the hope that, you know, some of these guys could come the next big thing and, you know, start pulling in some money as well. So
yeah, I watched a lot of arm wrestling the last 5 years. Even before that, I watched WAL, but the last 5 years, I watched a lot of arm wrestling, and I didn't have a clue who that guy was. Yeah. And now I started following him right away because I couldn't believe the match he gave Todd. Like, blew me away. Todd struggled the whole way. Like, he barely won.
Let me ask you, bro, after seeing the Michael Todd versus Gennady match, now, first off, what were you surprised in that outcome that Michael Todd got the win?
I thought Michael was going to win, because I follow him a lot, and his pronation lift and stuff are through the roof. So I really thought he was going to get the win because Gennady never had a match in a year since he tore his bicep. So that was on my head. But I didn't think he was going to win in the fashion he won. I thought it was going to be an all-out dog war between the two of them, but it wasn't. If you look at Michael's face the whole match, Michael's looked like in the King's move. He's smiling at the camera. He's laughing. Like the whole time, he had the biggest ego ever. And Gennady couldn't pin him. Gennady had Michael's hand literally like in front of his chest here, pushing, and he still couldn't pin Michael. Like it was insane, just crazy. And then Michael, the second match or the second round, he lost because he was showboating too much. And when he looked away, Gennady caught him, and he pinned him. And that's the only reason Gennady got any rounds on him was, I believe, is because Michael was showboating too much.
Wow.
Now, after seeing that, do you see eventually in the future maybe a possible Michael Todd versus Devon rematch?
Oh, I think if Devon don't put on any weight or anything, I think Michael will destroy him right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because they both have the same move. They both understand the move really good, and they both know how to beat the move. But I believe Michael is more sticky than Devon is when he's way out there, I think. But it's to get, and it's also to get Devon over there too, right? Yeah. Lately, nobody's really moving him from center. The first match or the first round, maybe, but then after that, he's like, man, that guy's strong. Whatever he is putting in his body or whatever he's exercising, like, it's crazy.
Oh. Bob Anderson says Devon should only go into lighter weight classes if he's pulling on left.
I think he's too strong.
And Corey says Engen never should have put the strap on them. He 100% let the stallion out of the stable. Try and stop Devon from taking advantage in a left-hand title shot that he knows he doesn't deserve yet. Okay, and then Roy says, look at the end of the day, East vs. West 15 was an absolute banger, and it sets up East vs. West 16 to another banger. The matchup are getting crazier and crazier. The only thing I see a problem with it, bro, is I think they're doing too many matches on a card. Mm-hmm. Too many big name versus big names on a card. I think it would be make more sense. Cut down the card to 5-6 matches. Have one big match on it as the main event. And then have the other ones like B level, some good matchups and all. I'm not saying that, but I think that's the way to do it. Like a UFC style, where, you don't got this whole marathon going on of 15 matches and every match is like the next, because you're losing a lot of like great matches that should be like a main event spotlighted and would get a lot of attention. And I think that's why they're bringing in this guy, Robert Baxter. This guy is obviously a business guy. He understands money and all. And, Engen's good at setting matches, but he's not that business guy. He doesn't understand, the proper way of doing things. And I think that is one of the changes that I hope will eventually happen. And, what's your guys' thoughts on it? Do you guys agree with me?
That, I think, the less matches. Besides that, there's not once that anybody tonight on this show brought up the ladies' matches, and they were one of the best matches on that card. And nobody talked about them. That's a sin. Like, no wonder everybody says we're trying to grow ladies sports, and you go to all these different events. They don't even charge ladies for a lot of events to enter. But now we didn't even talk about these two ladies, these two different matches, and they were crazy matches. Like,
so tell me about that. So we had Carolina.
I don't know their names.
It was Carolina, and it was I forgot what I can't remember something.
That was the first match. Yeah.
So who won that? Did Carolina get the win on that?
The dark-haired girl.
Carolina's the blonde.
Okay, she got destroyed.
Whoa.
Yeah, and nobody could believe that she lost that easy, I guess.
Wow.
She couldn't do anything with her. She just right from the setup, she was overpowered, I think.
Okay. Digging it says, not for me, man. I like these top pullers on the same event. The East versus West 15 was one hell of an event. Loved it. But I disagree with you coming from a business mind. I don't agree. I think you're wasting a lot of great main event matches, putting too many of them together to always try saying, it beat the last card. That's not what we're trying to do here as a business. We're trying to build this sport. So having 15 matches is not smart for non-arm wrestlers because they're going to be bored off their minds. They're not going to pay attention to them. And as far as business wise, I mean, you could have Toddzilla versus Yoshi as a main event on a 5-card thing. That should be spotlight. You can have a Michael Todd versus Gennady. And, instead of just having 5 main events on one card, it just doesn't make sense from a business sense. And we're rushing through these where we could be maximizing, getting more eyes on it, keeping an event at, 2 to 3 hours, which, is more mainstream. And I think it's going to be a lot better for growing the sport, but that's just my opinion. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Corey says, Paul, he is partnered with King of Tape, the more matches Engen puts on, the less matches King of Table can put on. Ha ha ha. Yeah, so yeah, King of Table and him are together, and what I feel like Engen does is he kind of hoards all the good matches, and that's why I like King of Table. I feel like was taking a hit because Engen's just throwing them the scraps and putting the matches that really don't make sense in a way. You know what I mean? So I think they need to sort that out as well. And I'm very confident with Robert Baxter. I know Robert, and I just know he's a very business savvy guy. He's been in arm wrestling, like decades, I think 3-4 decades. And I think that, once he gets his say, and, I don't really know the relationship, but knowing that he's a partner, I think we will see significant changes. And I think it's going to go, where I'm more talking about, like more UFC style. You have your prelim card, a couple matches on that. Then you got your 3-4 good matches, and then you got the main event banger, and keep going with that route. And I think that would be overall really, really good move. Drew says, oh, that's it. Dimitrina versus Carolina. And yeah, she's a beast, that one.
Yeah.
She's pulled on a lot of the old WAL cards, and she's a big time world champion winner. But I wouldn't expect her to beat Carolina like that, because just Carolina's been unstoppable recently. She's just been killing it.
Her hand control was crazy strong though.
Yeah. But what's crazy about Carolina that a lot of people don't know is she's also becoming a doctor. So she's, has a couple of kids.
Wow.
Going through, about to be a doctor, and to see that she's doing what she's doing in arm wrestling, and then knowing all the context behind, very, very impressive lady.
Yeah, that's crazy, eh?
Yeah, for real.
Because you don't hear arm wrestlers being doctors or bodybuilders or influencers of some sort, or just strong people. You don't hear of doctors, lawyers, or
Where are you at the moment, Richard? Are you in? I'm going to guess. Are you in Toronto or Vancouver?
No, way off.
Where are you?
Cape. I'm in Nova Scotia, right? But where I'm from is called Cape Breton. It's an island that's in Nova Scotia. And anybody that's from Cape Breton, we say we're from Cape Breton. We don't say we're from the mainland.
Did
you ever hear of Newfoundland?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's why I sound like them people.
Fair enough. Yeah, you hit all the Canadian, stereotypical words. I had the A in there, and I heard a boot.
Yeah, I leave T's and H's off everything. My kids are horrible. I can't do their homework with them because I never say the words right.
That's great.
And I'm like, I don't know, probably a 16-hour drive from Toronto, and maybe 19-hour drive from Devon's, I guess.
Richard,
so
you
go
gotta
there weekly for practice.
Yeah, right. Richard, you got to come down to Knuckles Up, man.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Come down in January, bro. I'd love to see you there, bro, and get to kick it with you, man. You've been such a great supporter from day one, and we've always talked and messaging and all. And I'd love to hang out with you, man. It'd be really cool to see you at a Knuckles Up.
That's why I know a lot, I guess a little bit more than other people about Devon. I talk to him all the time, like personally, since we met. I don't know, however many years ago. I don't know why he likes me or why Jody likes me or what they see in me. I told you I had a bad pill habit for 16 years and stuff. I fell 23 feet off a power pole when I was at work. And when I moved back to Cape Breton, it was an opioid crisis here. So everybody thought you just wanted drugs. I didn't. I wanted to be fixed. So I went to the street. I ended up going to the streets 16 years later. Got clean when I had my son 5 years ago. And November 27th, will be 5 years clean. And I told that to Jody and Devon, and they just took to me. That was it. And now I'm best friends with their neighbor. So Devon's always at his house, and he's always videotaping them all screwing around in the garage.
Wow.
Yeah, the Larratt seem like really lovely people. Like
they're
off
awesome.
Off of the table, when Devon's in his war mindset or whatever.
Different
It's a
person.
story. But yeah, when you meet them in real life or speak to them any moments, they're the nicest people you could ever speak to.
Last year at Nationals was my first national. Well, I only started pulling about a year and a half ago now, I guess. But I was training just before COVID, and then COVID shut everything down. Devon came to Nationals here last July, 2 Julys ago. And that's when I met him in person, him and Jody. And my buddy, this guy, Sully's, it's like the biggest marijuana shop in Cape Breton, maybe second biggest in Nova Scotia right now. He came over to his house for, I don't know, 3-4 hours. Him and Jody were at his house. Milo was, or not Milo, sorry. Milo was there and his daughter. I don't know where Auden was, but they were there for 3-4 hours, just kicking it in the garage with us, having a beer, something else. It was a blast. They're the nicest people you could ever imagine. And that's why I say all the time, even talking to you two right now, what other sports in the world, like our nationals last year, or even this year, there's 15, 20 multiple world champions. Like Mike Gould, I sat down, me and my wife hung out with Mike Gould and his wife for, I don't know, 8 hours one night. Like, what other sport can you hang out with these people all at once for free and get them all in the same room or the same building for free, and they pay their way to get there? There's no other sport.
Hell yeah, you're right.
There's
with
none.
that, bro. Yeah, it's a really cool thing with that. It's just like a really close knit community, and every time I've hung out with Devon and Jody, I mean I had a blast with them. They were just so much fun to hang out with. Great people.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree. And I mean, almost every arm wrestler, all the top guys, same thing with Travis and Jerry.
Michael Todd,
and
same way.
all those guys.
I message Michael all the time, back and forth, and Toddzilla or Todd, whatever you want to call him. Me and him message back and forth all the time. I told them my story 4.5-5 years ago, roughly, and they just became friends. It's crazy. You couldn't do that with Wayne Gretzky or Michael Jordan, or it's just impossible. There's no way they would.
Yep, I told you my story when I I'm looking down at my phone and my phone starts ringing and it's Travis Bajent, and I'm like, what the fuck is Travis? I just watched this guy on Game of Arms, and then he's like, yo, bro, you grow marijuana? Yo, I need my own strain, bro. So I was just like, yo, this is fucking nuts right now, man. And then same thing with Michael Todd, all of a sudden my messenger's going off and he's calling. I'm like, bro, what's up, man? Like, you calling me? And he's like, yo, you're the man with the gym equipment. Like, what company should I go? I'm about to build a gym, and I see all these videos of your gym, and it's same thing, bro. I was just like, this
Crazy.
is so fucking cool, man. You know what I mean?
It's just talking about it even still blows my mind that I'm a nobody, man. I live out in the middle of nowhere. I was a power linesman for umpteen years. Now I'm a heavy equipment operator / I'm doing security for my buddy right now. I'm a nobody. I'm an amateur at best arm wrestler. Yeah, I finished 3rd at Nationals last year, but I'm still not even close to being anywhere else, like just maybe in Canada. So
well, get your ass the knuckles up, man, because we got a tournament. This is the first tournament, bro, and you could get in. I think it's the last.
That's a lot of money for me to get all the way down there.
Really? How much? I mean, it can't be that much, man.
But I know it is cheaper to fly from here to Florida, because my mom goes to Florida all the time. It's cheaper to fly from here to Florida than it is from here to Toronto.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, I mean, bro, and there's got to be flights right into New York, and it's right over the bridge. So, I mean, it'd be easy for you to get. And, bro, I'm telling you, it's just the experience alone, just to see it in person. And, especially now, this is going to be the first one with a big tournament, which they haven't did yet. So it's going to bring, like, when they had that East versus West, the Challenger Series, and they had the big tournament, and you just seen so many people there. This is what Knuckles Up is going to be like on this one.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So it'd be great to see you there, man. And we would have such a blast, bro. And, just hanging out with everybody, like on the Friday night, it starts the whole weekend, just partying away. And hopefully nobody pulls a fucking fire alarm, because that shit was so crazy shit going on there last time. But, made good content. I'm out there interviewing the firemen and the police, saying, like, did somebody in a super match pull a fire alarm to get out of a match? And
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was just some fun shit. So definitely, if you could make it there, that'd be amazing. And Matt, I'm just gonna keep annoying you, bro. Please, bro, sneak in somebody's suitcase. You got your whole gang coming through on this one.
You're
You
not
gotta
putting that
come
man in
roll.
a suitcase. You need a
I know, right?
big suitcase.
Man, I had my bag searched both times I've come back from international things. It was really weird. I wasn't expecting that, but
My uncle
yeah.
Steven, he's like a businessman for a big oil company, and he's all clean shaved, and he just picture like a lawyer or something. Like he looks like a really good looking guy, but like far from drugs. It don't matter where he goes on vacation. He's the first person anybody comes up to sell him drugs. Everybody that's there, and there's way other people that like they should be the ones, but no, they go right to my uncle.
That's funny, bro. Bro, they got a comment. Corey wants to know, Richard, you should pull Jake Ward. You guys are around the same size. What would your thoughts of you pulling Jake, the Aussie arm wrestler?
Oh, I don't know. I'll probably kill him.
Yeah.
How much? I can pronate probably 112 pounds right now. Like, but I don't do it the way Devon and them are doing it neither, because their arm. I use my elbow where they're like up here on the back of their arm off of their leg, right? Okay. So I'm actually doing it off of my elbow, and I'm getting 110 pounds, roughly 111 pounds. Okay. I'm not really strong bench presser. I never ever was, so I can't bench press much. Maybe around my body weight. I'm 165 roughly. But my deadlift, this is what's insane. I can deadlift about. Oh, it was in June or July. We had a big tournament in the mainland, and I deadlifted 505 for 2, and I held 360 pounds. So 180 pounds in either hand. It's called a suitcase hold, but the handles are like as skinny as your finger. So that's the problem. They rip your hand apart, right? Okay. And I held 360 pounds for 88 seconds.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm just not so convinced with the whole weightlifting to compare to the table yet. I don't know. I don't think. You know, because I've seen so many guys being so strong in so many lifts, and you know, I've also been that guy that was stronger than everybody on my team, and then they get on the table, and I was probably one of the worst. You know, when I first started. So you know, I don't judge from the weights anymore. I don't know if that really translates. There's so many other factors in it.
I judge the guys I arm wrestle. Like, I'll send you some pictures of guys in my club, or videos guys in my club that I arm wrestle with. There's one guy, Aaron. He's the provincial champion right now on his left arm. He's like 163, 162, 5'9" maybe. And he's got 17-inch biceps and 15-inch forearms. And I destroy him every time because my top roll is he lifts more, like in that Devon lift, in that pronation lift. He's lifting like 160 right now. But I destroy them every time. So
how tall are you?
5'10" roughly.
Okay. Yeah, you look like you got the long levers and all that. So
I don't work my biceps enough lately. I've been run off my feet. I work 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And then when I go home, I got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old I got to raise. So the last few months been hard. My biceps are like 14 and a quarter inches roughly. But my forearms are 14 and a quarter inches roughly.
Okay.
And that's just natural. I never ever worked my forearms before. That's just from being a power linesman and running heavy equipment.
See, that's the thing, bro, is your hands and your tendons, the shit that you can't see is what matters. And you know, that's why like guys that are a lot bigger muscular wise, you know, they might not have something for you because you're working every day and you're building up those tendons and you're not seeing those. Because if we're just going muscle for muscle size, I mean, bro, I go next to guys that are 300 pounds, super heavyweight, and I make their forearms look tiny. You know what I mean? So like you can't really go by that, man. If I could say like my arm size compared to everybody, I would fucking destroy everybody in arm wrestling, and that doesn't really happen like that.
And that's me. I'm always the smallest.
Yeah, exactly.
Always.
Bro.
But my hands, another thing, we measured my hands again on Wednesday or on Tuesday. Sorry, we had practice Tuesday night, yesterday. There's look up Patrick McKinnon. He's the next big thing that hit arm wrestling. He's 21 now. He just lost a pile of weight. He was 420 pounds, 6'4". He's down to 275, I believe, right now. He's got a match with Pork Chop in December at the Mac Mac event.
Nice.
And this kid is a monster. He's number 1 in Atlantic, Canada, like the last 4 years or so. He's probably sitting number 2 in Canada on the left arm right now, behind either Devon or Rick. Yeah, this guy's
Damn, bro. He looks like he's about to eat the other dude.
he lost a pile. He's about 80 pounds less than this.
That is
I
nuts,
think. Oh
bro.
no, this was just recently.
Yeah, that's a freaking polar bear, bro. That thing is real.
But my hands, his hands are maybe a eighth bigger than mine. So my hand is 9 1/4 inches long.
That's crazy, bro.
And it's 4 and something inches wide.
Yeah.
But my hand is thin. That's
Okay.
so I can wrap around everybody so much because my hand is thin and it's so long. And I arm wrestle in the 154 to 165 pound class, and my hand is way bigger than everybody.
Yeah, you're gonna be a problem with that for real. I'm interested. I would love to get on the table with you, man. That would be I think that'd be a good one, man. I'm definitely would love to try it out. And I got a little weight on you. I'm at like 176. I actually lost some weight because I've been sick this week and a half. But
Nationals this year, I got screwed over by 0.03 of a pound. And I had to pull in the 177 pound class at 156 pounds roughly. And I finished 7th overall out of 26 guys or 25 guys, I think.
Damn. So you're pretty damn good, man. Hell
Nah,
yeah.
I don't think. I'm number 2 in Nova Scotia right now in the 165 class. And I'm number 3, I think, or number 4 in Atlantic, Canada in the 154 pound class.
Roy says, Paul, what do you think of the rumors of Wall putting up events in 2025? For you know anything about it, bro? I've been hearing that it's almost like it's like them fucking with us now.
How
Like,
many years have it been?
yeah, this is now 3-4 years that we've been saying this, and I got to say, I was involved with things. You know, I signed a contract, and you know, I got involved with a bunch of things they had going on, and I was so excited, bro. I was like, yeah, this is going down. I found out all the other dudes that were being hit up, and it was all top guys, and I'm like, I'm pinching myself. I'm like, bro, that I'm even involved in this right now. I couldn't believe it or whatever. And then it just nothing ever happened. And, you know, like the last thing I heard from anybody, I think was like 2 years ago. And, you know, they flew me down to LA, and, you know, I met up with a couple of the guys on the production side. And, you know, I thought it was going places. Like they were all excited, and we were doing all this like casting things and making all these videos. And then they would disappear for a while again.
Wow.
I have not heard a peep, nothing. You know, so I just gave up. You know, I keep wishing, you know, I loved, you know, I wasn't around on WAL. I've heard so much about it. I've seen all the great events in the past. You know, that was like the shit. So
Yeah.
I've been just, you know, but I also in the last like year, I kind of just gave up. And I used to have my talk every like 3 months. I would call Steve Copeland. I got his cell phone number, and you know, me and him were good friends. We would stay in touch and all. And it was just something that he said that last time I spoke with him that I got off the phone. I just said to my girl, I'm like, I don't think this is happening. Like, I don't think like it, just things that he was saying was making me believe like, oh shit, he's like second guessing it or something. And, you know, and this was at the beginning when East versus West just was kicking off. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know what happened with anything, have not heard anything, but I did hear what you're saying. You know, a couple people said, oh, you know, 20, you know, I think Don Underwood, right, Matt? Was that, didn't he say that on the last time he was on the Buzz?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so
Yes.
too. Last week or 2 weeks ago.
So, I mean, when you hear a guy like that saying, like, Don's not going to, you know, blow smoke up our ass.
But he
and
could be hearing the same rumor.
That's what I mean. That's the thing. And, you know, I think Cobra might have been saying something about it. And, you know, I don't know, guys, to be honest.
You probably know just as much as anybody else because you're in the US and you know a lot of these people.
But I used to hear things all the time where it made me believe there was a good couple of years. I'm like, oh, bro, this is nuts. I'm about to be on WAL. There's a show coming on. And I was so fucking happy. And then it just went on so long of not hearing anything. And just, you know, I feel like everybody else that thought it was going places, because we used to talk every month, like, yo, did you get any phone calls? And we'd hear an update from somebody else, and then you're like second guessing in your head, like, fuck, am I on the out? Why are they hearing things? I'm not. But it got to the point where we stopped hitting each other up because it was just like kind of defeating and all that. But fingers crossed, man. I would love it.
Nice.
The more organizations coming back doing big things. Competition is a great thing for a sport. You know what I mean?
It's sorry to cut you off, but only as long as you could go wherever the heck you want.
Exactly. But that is the thing, bro. For you to be on whatever I'm talking about now, you had to sign a contract, which was a 5-year contract, and I was so scared about everything, and it was literally like 50 pages of shit, and I just kept asking them, and they kept making me feel better, but you're still like, if you're making me feel better, then why do I have to sign this whole thing and sign my fucking life away and all that shit? But nothing ever came of it. So I really honestly don't know. Corey says, I'm finally coming down in weight again, 6'4", currently 275. I was fit my entire life, but retired and gained some extra. Damn, bro, you sound like a freaking beast, bro, for real.
Wow.
And Tom Flesh Eating Gaming says, love Cobra, man's a beautiful spirit. Thank you for that, Tom.
What do you weigh right now, Paul?
Like I said, bro, I've been sick the last week and a half. So, I had in my head that I lost like 10 pounds. But I honestly, I think I'm probably like at that 176 point right now.
And you're 5'6".
5'6", but
you're a monster too.
I'm stacked right now. I'm thick. I'm definitely thick. My arms, anywhere I go, people say shit and they're like, holy shit, bro, your arms are fucking jacked, so.
Right.
Yeah, I just, I haven't been on the table in 6 months, but I've been doing a lot of training for arm wrestling as far as, movements, exercises, and all that, building up the hand. So I'm really interested to see where I'm at when I get back on the table. I'm hoping I just surprise my shin like, oh, wow. And I'm also using a riser, which I've never did before, and I was always against it, and I kind of put the ego away, and I think that might be a game changer because, just from the exercises, how close I'm staying to my arm is like, that was always my downfall because I'd be so far away from my arm. Now I'm like right on top of it all the time, and I could just see the weights are going a lot higher than they used to, and I'm just like, wow, I was 198 then, and now I'm at 176 putting up more weight, and I feel so much better. So we'll see what goes on coming in January and all, and that's why I'm hoping, bro, come through and hang out, man.
Sounds like a good time. I'll get you to send me the addresses and stuff, and I'll freaking go. This is my left arm. My wrist on my left arm is destroyed. This guy is number 2 in my province on his left arm, but my right arm, I destroyed this whole field on my right arm at this event.
You are a scrappy looking dude. You're like you look like a fighter, bro. You got that scrappy, like you don't want to run into you in a bar, dog.
Unfortunately, up until 5 years ago when I smartened up, I was a meathead. I'd swing before I said hello if I had to, sort of thing. And you got that look, you got that grit to you, man, and you got that you definitely got the arm wrestling build, bro. You got the long levers, and yeah, man, you look like a so I said I was 5'10", right?
Yeah.
But if you go fingertip to fingertip, I'm just over 6'1". So my family, I always say my dad's side family, we got gorilla arms because our arms are always longer than what they should be.
Hell yeah. Aaron, hit me up, bro. I'm like I said, though, I haven't been practicing at all. I haven't been throwing anything. But if you do come in town, just give me some time, and maybe we'll get something. I'm not going to promise a big practice like you. I have not did anything in 6 months as far as getting the team together or anything like that. I have not wanted to have sore tendons or anything. I've just been wanting to peak out in the gym and just get strong on the table, not on the table, but in arm wrestling exercises, and then start going hard in January and start actually pulling and see if all this made sense or it was a complete waste of time. But I just from the super matches that I did last time and with that last one with Nanya, I mentally was burnt out from arm wrestling, and I just needed a break, and I need the rest of my body as far as tendons and all that. And, you know, I had a little injury in the forearm. I felt after that I wanted to make sure to heal up 100%, but I feel amazing. I'm happy I did it overall. You know, I'm starting to look like my old self where, you know, everywhere I walk around, everybody's like, damn, bro, you're jacked. And it starts the conversation right there. And that's how I bring it right into arm wrestling and all, and get people talking about it. So, yeah, bro, you're always welcome. You know, I'll see if I could get a couple guys together, and maybe it'll be my first time back on the table in some time. So hell yeah, I'm always down for that. And Richard says, Paul, you need to get back on the table. You're one of my favorite guys to watch. You're a Tasmanian devil. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, bro. That's the one thing, bro. I bring the energy. You know what I mean? That last match that we got to see, I did not. I shot my load before, but I can promise that, like, you know, when I get on that table, it's real, bro. I let that fucking rage out. And if anybody ever trains with me in the gym, you'll see that's how I am all the time. I'm that dude where I am going balls to the wall at the gym. You know, there ain't no talking on the phone. I'm 100%. I'm sweating like a pig, and I'm literally an animal in the fucking gym. And that's how I kind of bring it on the table, that same intensity and all. Looks like Richard's the same way, man. You got a lot of intensity.
Yeah, this is not a good match. My right arm is my arm. My left arm is really weak. Yeah.
This is just the one that popped up first.
Yeah, if you click on the same site, you'll see my right arm, and you'll see me going up against the number one guy in Nova Scotia, and his arms are, like I say, 17 inches. And
Jonathan McKinley?
No, that's another big match. That was last year. I got beat, but close.
Gary Kell?
No.
Roy
that same site that you were just on. That
it's on YouTube.
Matt, Roy has a question. He says, did Lachlan pull an AWE tournament? No, right? He's not pulling at any of the AWEs, right?
He can't pull anywhere apart from core sports.
Okay.
And that guy that was in the video reffing, he's my coach. His name is, I know it's crazy. Around here, it don't matter who you are or how big you get. Nobody knows anything. His name is Mark McPhail, and he's a world champion like multiple times in the 198 to 220 pound class. And same thing, like 30 some national championships. I don't know how many provincial championships. Also, he has what do you call it? Powerlifting records that still stand today in Canada. So he was in a lot of stuff, and nobody knows about that guy.
Very cool.
Self-promotion. You got to promote yourself.
Yeah, that's what it is, and that's why this big match with my training partner, this kid. Well, he's not a kid; he's 21. We're trying to promote it so big because he's pulling pork chop, right? And I believe he's going to make pork chop look like a baby.
Wow,
that's how strong he is. Like
nuts.
I can grip up to him on his left arm with my left arm. I can put, I can't remember how big the strap is. I'll look it up. I can wrap it around me and put it on him. Plus, I take my right hand and I come over the top of his hand, and I can't pin him.
Wow.
It's insane how strong this kid is.
Roy said, who would you want to pull, Paul? Who you got in your scope? So, Roy, what I'm doing is I'm going to start off in Florida. I'm going to start pulling a lot of the tournaments over there. Hold on, we got we just mute that for a second. Hold on. There you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull over in tournaments in Florida to begin with, and kind of get my my feeling with everything, and kind of see where I'm at in that 176 pound class. You know, I haven't pulled much pros yet. It just was getting into the pro class and all. But, you know, mind you, I was over at the 198. So I want to see kind of where gauge myself and kind of figure out things, pull, you know, at least 3-4 tournaments, get some more experience, see where I'm at. You know, I know the 176 pound class pretty clearly in Florida where everybody is. So I just want to find out where on that totem pole I lay. And then once I'm there, now I could start zeroing in on, you know, super matches. And, you know, I know the Knuckles Up guys before my last match, you know, they were offering me a match, and, you know, they wanted to see me against the Whisperer. And, you know, there was a couple of matches that were thrown out there, you know. So once I kind of figure out where I'm at, we'll go from there. But I haven't really been sizing anybody up in that 176 pound class other than Florida, just because I know where those guys are and all that. So stay tuned, guys. I'm telling you, Florida, you'll see me pulling at a Pro Gear Arm Wrestling. I'll be over there a lot. Also, that South Florida league that just started. We had Chris on a couple of times. I'll be pulling at his events. Also, I'm open. I don't know if I'm invited at FAL anymore. Chance is running things. I don't know if he's mad at me these days or not, or if Engen's going to make the phone call in there. But, Florida is where you guys will see me and kind of figuring things out as well. So keep posted, but I'll be active in 2025. Well, guys, we've been on for quite a long time. I want to say, Rickard, it's finally great to have you on here.
This was awesome. Thank you. I needed this tonight.
Hell yeah, bro. And looking forward to seeing you pulling it in the future. And I hope your training partner does well against Pork Chop. We'll definitely be tuning in on that as well.
That's at the MAC event.
Hell yeah, man. That's Ian Carnegie's big event with the MAC tables. Really cool stuff he's got going on. Also, he made some belts and all that look pretty official. So
my brother, this guy that's Sully's, he just got he's just get in with Ian, and they're doing business together now. So there's going to be a lot of MAC events held here too, where I live. And I think there's one in January, either the end of January or the middle of February. There's going to be another big event here.
Hell yeah, man. Well, that's a real smart move. Ian's doing great things for the sport. I really like Ian a lot. Really, really classy guy. And I like that he made a change. He didn't just speak, something has to be done. He actually put things in action. He's got his own table, the MAC table. I got to pull on. I haven't competed on it, but I got to experience it. Definitely pretty cool. I would like to see it in, a tournament setting and see how I do with that. But
the guy, Jody Harper, I keep telling you about, to go look up his handles, maybe try to get a couple or whatever, that guy.
Okay, yes. You've been telling me a lot about him.
He puts on a big event every year in Prince Edward Island, and he just put a big event on where Mac came down, or Ian came down with a Mac table, and they did the tournament.
Yeah.
And everybody that was there was like 29 matches, I think, and then it turned into 32 super matches. They ran them all in one day, literally one day. I think it was 7 hours, 32 super matches. It turned out to be, and there's not one person that had a match didn't like that table.
Wow, that's and bro, you talk to your boy. Tell him to send me a handle, man. I'll get that shit out there. I'll go do a review, and I see him giving out all these handles to everybody. Come on, man, make a lot of noise out there. Give me one of those.
If you message him, that's the thing, right? You message him and say, "I already told him who you were, but you got to message him, and he'll probably give you one." That's how everybody else is getting them.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, definitely. Hey, Jody, if you're listening, brother, hook a brother up, man, and I'll get you out there, bro.
With you want the two handles you want right off the get-go is the Outsider,
okay,
and the Boss.
Okay, which one is good for inside pulling? Is that the
Boss?
That's
but
pulling the Boss, huh?
But every handle you can do probably 8 to 12 different exercises, because the strap pulls out of the hand like it looks like a hand, and you can put the strap all different positions. It's amazing. They're the only two handles I use anymore. I got 7 of his handles, but I only ever use the 2 now.
Wow.
Because you can do so much.
Well, this is good, man. And tell them to show up at Knuckles Up as well, man. Get them out there. Bring, set up a booth over there and get it out there, get them going everywhere. Because, I am hearing a lot of great things about him. Don Underwood's really pushing them. And, Don's one of those, he don't bullshit around. So.
And he's strong too. He just won at Nationals this year too. He came first in Nationals. He's a strong dude. And he's like 52 or something now. And he only got into it like 4 or 5 years ago. But he just started crushing everybody because he's a bricklayer since he was a young teenager, right?
That's it, man.
And his hands are like monsters. He's strong as heck.
That's the shit, man. It's those guys that are working with their hands every day of their life, bro. Those are the guys you gotta fear, man. Not the gym guys. It's those guys because they gotta work with their hands every day, and those tendons and ligaments build up. That's what you need to be scared of. Showing muscles isn't everything in arm wrestling. I learned that really quick, man. Because otherwise, it'd be just the biggest dude would be the strongest, and we all know that ain't true. I mean, look at Devon, bro. He's a wiry kind of dude. Yes, he's a giant, but I mean, when you see him doing what he's doing to these guys that are friggin' jacked and all that, I mean, you could see it. There's a lot more going on.
Somebody like Devon, compared to you, say your bicep and Matt's bicep they're massive, right?
Yep.
But from your elbow to your shoulder is shorter. Devon's is like this freaking long. So when Devon tries to get his arm 22 inches, it's almost impossible, and that's why he's been 16 and a half inches since like 2008, because you got to grow that great big long arm first. And that's my problem. From my shoulder to my elbow is so long that it takes forever for me to grow a bicep.
Bro, I just look at the weights and I grow.
Yeah, see that I do too if I would go.
Yeah. I wish, man.
I would too.
Rickard, thank you, man. It was a pleasure having you on, brother.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm gonna message you later and tell you why this is so good. I came across a bad accident on Sunday evening here, where it was a fatal crash, and Buddy got thrown through the windshield, went like 30. When I found him, he was like 30 feet away from his car, and in like a pond, and blah blah blah. So tonight, sitting here at this shift from 11 to freaking 7 in the morning is pretty rough right now. So to sit here and talk to you amazing fellers and all these guys in the chat, this is awesome tonight, man.
Okay, well, let's see that gun show before we go.
I got shirts
what we're
on.
Working with here. There you go.
Look at that.
They're fucking mad over there, bro. Jesus.
Boys are massive.
Raw. You gotta get in there. Damn, Matt, you are looking huge. Wow, bro. There you go, bro. Your fucking
My
forearm right now is looking nasty, bro. Rickard, that forearm. Wow.
My forearm is probably bigger than my bicep right now.
It is like a lot bigger, bro. That is impressive right there, bro. Holy shit. Man.
That's why I beat so many people. It's because of my forearm, I believe. I got to talk to you and learn more exercises, I guess. The best ones.
Bro, just do what you're doing, bro. Working every day, man. Yo, fucking tendons, bro. That's it. For real. All right, fellas. Yo, have a great night, everybody. Thank you guys in the chat. Appreciate it. If you guys haven't already, please hit that thumbs up button, and we will see everybody next week on the Arm Wrestling Buzz. It's a wrap, fellas.
Later, everyone.